Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. Here's what's coming up on the Owen Report today. Well, the Gatekeeper in Chief, Susie Wiles, for some reason, decided that she would let Vanity Fair get access to the White House. And go figure, shocking, I know, stunned. The administration is stunned that Vanity Fair would do a hit piece. Did Susie Wiles know what she was doing, or was that an honest mistake? We'll review some of the aftermath, some of the fallout from that. I think it puts quite a few things on display. We're really starting to hone in on what this administration is and what this administration isn't, and how exactly it got to be that way. We're really starting to figure it out. The president of Mexico has a response for President Trump declaring fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. Yeah. Remember what I said about fentanyl in Mexico? Yeah. So we'll be explaining that. There's a continued story here when it comes to the attacks on Pete Hegseth. But then more recently, the Department of War investigating all of those Democrats that came out in that video and said that you don't have to obey illegal orders in the military. So there's still a lot of back and forth going on in that drama, in that story. We got a brief update on that. If you're listening to this in California, your energy costs might be skyrocketing very soon. Some news out of California. And of course, if you're listening to this, almost everybody listening to this, your healthcare costs are about to skyrocket. I've got multiple videos dealing with the new healthcare bills that people are receiving. And then we'll tie that into some other commentary on the general state of the economy. You've then got some news from the Department of Justice with Pam Bondi. Bill and Hillary Clinton were supposed to be deposed this week on the Epstein investigation. Well, turns out that's not going to happen. And we'll go back in time. We'll go back in time and review what Pam Bondi has said throughout the year regarding the Epstein files. And it's funny now that we still don't have them. It's funny now that we still don't have them. And then, of course, you can't avoid it now. We got a large stack of news from the propaganda desk of Benjamin Netanyahu. But we'll get to that. We still need to cover the attack. There's some more fallout from the attack in Australia, the attack now at Brown University, where the shooter is still at large. But Kash Patel has time to go do the Katie Miller podcast. That's nice. I'm glad. We're going to hear from J.D. Vance today. Actually, we're going to hear a couple things from J.D. Vance today. And I will tell you, folks, here's the big story. And I've just been through this before. I know all the signs. I know all the trends right before it happens. But they will. The big war now is to take away your First Amendment and your Second Amendment. Do not be confused. Do not be confused. They tried it on the left. They failed. Now they're trying it on the right. But they have a plan. They have a plan to sneak this one by you. And I'll tell you that plan. But just remember, your First and your Second Amendment right are unalienable, and they need to be protected at all costs. Because we're about to be betrayed by our government on this issue.
This news update was brought to you by OwenSchroyer.store, the official site for Owen Report merchandise.
All right, guys, we're already just a couple of weeks into winter, and it's already brutally cold. Huge snowstorms, blizzards, power outages. Folks, even here in Texas, you see me today, I'm wearing a turtleneck. It's cold in Texas. It's cold in Austin. I can't stand it. Luckily, though, we haven't got it as bad as some of you guys up in the north with the blizzards, the snowstorms, the bitter freezing cold, the negative temperatures, and even worse, the power outages, the road outages. So think about it. What do you do in that situation? No power, no access. What do you do? Do you have any way to keep yourself and your family warm? This is a real problem. Winter power outages can even be life-threatening, like just in Texas. A few years ago, we went through it. That's why so many Americans are getting a Vesta off-grid heater from My Patriot Supply. It's a space heater that doesn't use electricity or propane. It runs on something called canned heat, which is an indoor-safe fuel. With a Vesta stashed in your closet, you know you can keep warm no matter what. It even doubles as a stove to cook your emergency food. That's pretty cool and convenient. The best part is right now you can get the Vesta and a bunch more preparedness gear as free gifts when you order the Winter Survival Kit from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Owen, and you can see everything that is included. That's mypatriotsupply.com/Owen. Or as you see right here on the screen, if you just scan that with your phone, you can see the Winter Survival Kit there. That'll take you a shortcut. So you can do that right here on the screen, or you can go to mypatriotsupply.com/Owen. Folks, take advantage of the Winter Survival Kit right now at mypatriotsupply.com/Owen.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right. Before we get into the news today, I guess I would start with this. And I feel that I'm in a unique position. I'm not saying I'm the only one, but I am in a unique position. There's not many people that are in the same position that I'm in here to fully understand what I'm about to lay out. And to put this into context, I have basically gone through the ringer of dealing with the right and then the left and now the right again. In 2015 and 2016, when myself and many others came out as Trump supporters after he came down the golden elevator, and then maybe even more loudly and proudly after the Republican debates, we went through a process on the right wing inside of the Republican Party of dealing with the corruption, the deep state, the powers that be. And essentially we were salmon swimming upstream. We were going against the grain. We were supposed to be put out on an island. We were supposed to be guilt-tripped and shamed for supporting Trump. We went through all of this for 2 years, 2015 and 2016. And so we kind of got to see how the Republican Party operates and how it tries to control things and where it does have control and where it doesn't have control. Trump was pointing a lot of this stuff out on the campaign trail during the debates. So we already went up against the establishment right. I already went up against the establishment right for 2 years. For 2 years. Now, this was after obviously 8 years of Obama and covering Obama and the radical left and everything he did in his 8 years. But it was clear at that point, Trump was the anti-establishment candidate. And Trump was going to rail against the right-wing establishment and the left-wing establishment. This turned a lot of people on. This turned a lot of people off. But we went up against it. We faced it. We dealt with it. And we emerged ultimately victorious. We dealt with the never-Trumpers, many of which are now in the administration, even leading the administration, many of which now are trying to dictate what MAGA is or who it isn't. So we already went through that. But okay, 2016, we get Trump in. Now here we go. Now here comes the radical left. Now here comes the response from the radical left, dealing with the rise of Trump and dealing with the people that were important in getting him into the White House. So then we went up against the radical left. Of course, we saw the stolen election. We saw the censorship. We saw the lies, the attacks, the doxing, the rioting, the protests, the imprisonment, the disarming. So we already went through all of that. And now here we are again, unfortunately. Now here we are again putting up with the establishment right, the corrupt neocon establishment right, which Trump, for all intents and purposes, seems to have joined, seems to have allied with, seems to have decided this is where he's going to raise his sails. Okay, so that's a little awkward dealing with all of this, and yet here we are. So when I tell you what is coming next in a short picture and a long picture, you have to understand that I've already done this so many times. It's so easy to predict. It's like I'm just stuck on the same hamster wheel now, and we thought with this administration we'd get off this hamster wheel. But no, we're just stuck on the same hamster wheel. It's the same damn hamster wheel. It's the same damn merry-go-round. So I'm just here pointing the blurs, pointing out the blurry images, saying this is that is this. Because I've been on this ride for 10 damn years. So all the signs, all the symptoms, all the patterns, all the trends, all the attacks, all the words, all the lies, all the propaganda, it's all the same. It's all the same. It might have a new flavor. It might have a new delivery mechanism, but it's still the same agenda. It's still the same purpose. You as an American need to understand that your First Amendment and your Second Amendment hang in the balance. And you know what? Just as an aside, to maybe give a little more context to this, maybe a little added context to this, Trump appears to romanticize the Chinese communist system more so than the American constitutional system. Don't take my word for it. Remember, it was just a couple weeks ago at the White House where he was basically upset that the powers of the president are limited, and he was essentially jealous that Xi Jinping can do whatever he wants and he doesn't have to deal with Congress or the media or any of this stuff. He was romanticizing the idea of a dictatorship. Now, for practical purposes, okay, perhaps you can understand it. For practical purposes, you can understand the, I don't want to deal with all of this and these all the people in my way and everything else. But nonetheless, that's what it was. Trump doesn't romanticize the Constitution. Trump doesn't romanticize the Bill of Rights, but Trump was romanticizing the Chinese communist system, seemingly jealous of Xi Jinping that he can be more effective because he's an authoritarian. He's a dictator. Trump was kind of romanticizing that. He was flirting with the idea. He seemed to like it. And he was upset. He was upset at our current system. He was upset at our current constitutional republic and all the protection mechanisms it has to stop an authoritarian or a dictator from rising to power. So, okay. So let's retreat. Let's get back to the point. the powers that be, and there's all kinds of different powers that be, there's all kinds of different power structures and systems that are constantly fighting with one another, but they all agree on two things. No matter where you think the power struggle is coming from, no matter who you think it is, they all agree on two things. And that's that you cannot have the right to free speech. That's dangerous to their power structure. And you cannot have the right to bear arms or defend yourself, because ultimately, authoritarians, dictatorships, what have you, they have to rule you from behind a gun. They have to rule you from the barrel of a gun pointed at your head. It's the only way they can get you to go along with their unpopular policies, tyrannical government, serfdom, slavery in the 21st century. It's the only way. So as we sit here and watch now the new attacks on free speech, the new attacks on the Second Amendment, just know that was always part of the plan. And no matter where you think it's coming from, that was always part of the plan. And so the left wing tried it, and they said it was dangerous speech, what you said about black people, or it was dangerous speech, what you said about gay people or trans people. All of these different little identity politic issues, identity politic cultures, they wanted to protect, and they wanted to take away your free speech. Well, now it's the right-wing version of that. And it's all about fighting anti-Semitism. It's all about protecting the Holy Land and the most important place in the world, Israel. And so now that's where all of this is going. So the left had their delivery mechanism. The left had their flavor to try to take away your right to free speech. And we were able, for the most part, in the long run, we were able to fight it off and reject it. They were victorious for a small period of time, which means they're going to go for it again. But we were mostly able to overthrow it. And quite frankly, you know, I'm really concerned. I am really concerned at this point that we're probably going to see this from the Trump administration. Now, Trump has never really been a big romantic of the Second Amendment either, but ultimately that's what comes next. Ultimately, that's where this goes. Now, I think the plan, if there's a plan, I think it's going to go like this, folks. And maybe it makes sense. Allow me to put on my tinfoil hat, conspiracy theory hat, and try to see into the crystal ball here, try to see into the future. I think the Republicans want to lose the midterms, so that when they lose the midterms and there's a crackdown on free speech and there's a crackdown on the Second Amendment, they can blame the Democrats, because they know that it's not really going to work on Republicans. They know that a lot of conservatives are still bitter clingers, let's say, to the First Amendment and the Second Amendment. And by the way, I've got some evidence of all of this coming up that yes, you are now going to hear from Republicans talking about how we need to censor speech. This is now happening. But they want the Democrats to be running Congress when it happens. They want the Democrats to propose the legislation and vote on the legislation when it happens. So ultimately, this is where I see it going. Now, they're going to need a big event as the platter, as the delivery mechanism. They're going to need a big event as the backdrop to censor you and to disarm you. But a lot of people think this is happening soon. A lot of people think this is going to happen sooner than later. If they have control of such an event, and not everything is controlled, even the power structure doesn't have control of everything. Things do happen out of their control. But if they still have full control over this, they're not going to let this happen until after the midterms, after the Democrats take over, and then they're going to let the Democrats be the ones to deliver the anti-free speech legislation and the anti-Second Amendment legislation. That's where I see all of this going. That's what you need to be concerned about as an American. That's what you need to be thinking about as an American. Now, the problem is, as all the momentum is going in this direction and the snowball is building and rolling downhill, we're sitting here dealing with the continuing results of bad foreign policy. We're sitting here continuing to deal with the results of a bad economy. And so that makes it a lot harder to rally around these things as Americans and try to stand up for our rights. But make no mistake about it, that's where this is going. That's 100% where this is going. And you start to wonder how much of what's going on with Israel and the commentary surrounding it, how much of that is just another delivery mechanism to censor speech and disarm people. So we're going to be kind of reviewing different points of evidence that have led me to this conclusion. But I am fairly convinced that this is where it's all going. And I say that from the experience of dealing with this for a decade and watching the same patterns emerge now from the right wing that I went through from the left wing for 4+ years, because it happened before Biden became president. So it was really about 6 years after the Democrats took the House in the first Trump administration. That's really when it began. So again, this is all from past experience. This is all just understanding how each side operates in this larger agenda to take away your rights, to take away your freedom, your prosperity, your country, quite frankly. And the powers that be overall, and this is where the world has to be watching, and this is where we need to have a deeper understanding of what America is and what it represents. Because the powers that be that want you enslaved, they don't want you to be free. They don't want you to determine your own fate, decide your own future. They don't want to see your lineage grow into something great. They want you crushed. They want you destroyed. They want to remain kings forever. They want you to be the serfs of the planet. But they can't do that as long as America exists. It was the revolutionary idea that the individual is in charge of the individual, that self-government is the most organic path to human prosperity on the face of the earth. This was known as the American experiment in human freedom. And we did it, and we built the most powerful country in the world, and we revolutionized the world. And we built the world and made the world in many aspects. And then we got sold out. We got betrayed, treason up one side and down the other, a lying media, a corrupt media, all of it. And so now here we are. So they have to snuff out. They have to snuff out America. And they have to say, see, it didn't work. See, human freedom doesn't work. See that? You see that? That's symbolic. No, actually, you want to know what that is? I don't think I'm ever doing Christmas decorations again. It's a pain in the ass. And that's why I was late today. I don't think I'm ever doing Christmas decorations again. But that's symbolic. America falling. There it is. Segment over. Segment done. What do? You can't go on from that. You can't return from that. Did my light stay up? No. So that's it. Segment over. Symbolic, not planned. That just happened. It's like lightning striking right there. That's like lightning striking at the end of Caddyshack when he finishes his round and he gets hit by the bolt of lightning. So let's end it right there. That's what you need to know. That's what you need to keep your eye on. That's what you need to be watching. That's where all of this is going. And it doesn't matter, because I get back to the Israel issue, it doesn't matter whether you're Jewish or Muslim or any of this stuff. It's all going into the same thing. You're all going to be slaves in this system, all of you. And I just think they're using Israel as kind of the issue the cause celeb and the issue to really just have it just blow up as a big issue, a big topic, generate a bunch of terror, whatever, and then boom, clamp down on speech, clamp down on the Second Amendment. That's how I see it happening. And I speak from the experience of being through this and seeing it before. So that's where we're at. That's what you need to keep your eyes on, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let me do this before I put my tail between my legs and wipe the egg off of my face with my Christmas decorations falling apart behind me. Symbolically, the flag falling down as I'm warning about the fall of America. I couldn't have planned that if I tried. Let me do this then in the meantime. Now, obviously, you guys know about my friends at Blackout Coffee. And so today, though, well, actually, it was yesterday, and I was going to do it again today, but I ran out of time. You know about the instant coffee. You know about the premium instant coffee. By the way, buy one, get one free right now for the next 7 hours. Take advantage of that. Buy one, get one free premium instant coffee right now at blackoutcoffee.com/Owen, the official coffee of the Owen Report. But I want to do something else. I want to let you know what I did here. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see where we're at. There it is. Okay. All right. So, yes, I have the premium instant coffee from blackoutcoffee.com/Owen here in my mug. But I mixed it. I've got a new mix going here. Thanks to our friends at CHOQ. Another sponsor of the show, by the way. Thanks to our friends at CHOQ. This was not planned. I just did this myself. What I do now is I take this lit powder, the CHOQ lit powder, and you can go in, read all the different ingredients. It's a serious mix. It's not for the faint of heart. So now, this is what I did yesterday. I put a scoop of the lit powder in the coffee pot, and then I brewed my Blackout coffee in the coffee pot, and it was just kind of this natural mix, and the hot coffee mixed with the lit powder. It's like hot cocoa coffee is how I would describe it. It's like hot cocoa coffee. So I did the same thing today, but I didn't have enough time for a full pot. So instead, I just put some lit powder in my my local Coda mug here. Coda here, Circuit of the Americas here in Austin, Texas. It's their famous Peppermint Parkway Christmas lights display. A lot of fun. So I put some lit powder in here, and then I did my instant coffee from my water filter with the hot water. Yeah, we're that in, baby. We're that in right here. It's unbelievable. Hot cocoa coffee is how I would describe it. But you got to have your CovePure water filter for the hot water. You got to have your Blackout coffee for the coffee. You got to have your chocolate powder. We live it, baby. We just live it. All right, we're going to get into the news now. But you can't look at this awkward set that we have now because of the fall of America behind me. Look at that. My light is out. I think I'm done. I think I'm done with the garland behind me. You know, it's just kind of obnoxious. So I think we're just going to be done with that. That's what I think we're going to do. So, spare us here at the Owen Report. Spare us for a moment at the Owen Report as we address the studio falling apart, the country falling apart, an incredible, timely thing that nobody could have planned it if they tried. So we're going to do a quick studio repair and be right back.
No one can stop this. No one can stop this. No, que stop this.
All right, let's get into the news then, shall we? Shall we? I've got so much news content today. I'll be shocked if we can get through it. And we got a bonus stream later tonight. So we won't really be able to do much of an overtime transmission with a bonus stream later tonight. So let's just start cranking. Did you see the Susie Wiles drama? Now, the question is, how is it that the gatekeeper in chief, Susie Wiles, lets Vanity Fair into the White House? What is the thought process there? Is that sabotage? How could you not have seen that coming? Now, I'm personally glad that it happened because to me, it shows where this administration is. And it might be, now, of course, Susie and the gang are basically saying it's fake news and none of it is true, but these are exact quotes from Susie Wiles. And so Susie's not denying it, but she's saying, oh, these things were taken out of context. Now, I'm willing to take Susie at her word on this, actually, because this has happened to me. And I tell other people in the media, if somebody reaches out for comment, you better make sure that you record all of your comments and you don't give them anything that they don't want you to print, because they will print it and they will take it out of context and they will use that to paint the picture that they want. Now, is that what happened here? Could be. Could be. I don't know, but it could be. It wouldn't surprise me. So that's what the White House is saying. But again, whether or not Vanity Fair is being honest in the reporting, why did you let them in to begin with? Whose idea was that? Who thought that was a good idea? Who thought that would turn out well? And if Susie Wiles is your chief of staff, and if Susie Wiles is your gatekeeper in chief, and that's the decision that she's making, you might want to rethink her discernment levels. You might want to rethink whether or not you want to keep her around after that. Now, they're all in total defense of her today, and I'll show you that, but the massive outpouring of defense for Susie today tells me she's not going anywhere. Okay. Here's just some of the things. Here's just some of the things that made their way to the print. Over the course of 11 interviews, she apparently did 11 interviews with them. So, I mean, Vanity Fair is running around the White House. And I'll tell you this, too. I bet you this will not be the last thing you hear from Vanity Fair. I bet you they milked at least 2 or 3 stories out of all of this access. So don't be surprised when the new Vanity Fair hit piece drops and they talk about other things they saw in the White House. It's almost inevitable. What was Susie Wiles thinking? Over the course of 11 interviews, Susie Wiles offered pungent assessments of the president and his team. Mr. Trump, quote, has an alcoholic's personality. Okay. No context. Vice President J.D. Vance has been a conspiracy theorist for a decade. We'll hear from J.D. Vance on that, by the way. We've got a clip from J.D. Vance. He's responding to that. And his conversion from Trump critic to ally was based not on principle, but was sort of political because he was running for Senate. So in other words, Susie Wiles is insinuating that Vance really doesn't like Trump and never supported Trump. He only pretended to so that he could win a Senate race. Elon Musk is an avowed ketamine user and an odd duck whose actions were not always rational and left her aghast. Oh, so now we're starting to see where the Elon Musk overthrow originated. So it was Susie. Now it sounds like it was Susie that organized and coordinated the Musk ouster. Now, this accusation of ketamine has happened before. Okay, whatever. I don't think anybody would deny he's an odd duck. Now, I would like context on what she doesn't think what about Musk was not rational? Because it would seem to the rest of us that Musk was one of the most, if not the most rational person in there when all of this was going on. So what's not rational? Doge cuts? What's not rational? Arresting people guilty of fraud, waste, and abuse? What's not rational here about Elon Musk? Sounds like the left. It's like AOC comes out and says, Musk is the dumbest billionaire on the planet. Oh, yeah. Perhaps the most impressive thing on the planet right now is actually landing a rocket. Oh, yeah, that's Musk doing that. Right. Okay. Not always rational. It sounds like there's no rationality in this White House, and it's starting to sound like Susie Wiles is partly or mostly to blame for that. She goes after Russell Vought, the budget director, and says he is a right-wing absolute zealot. I thought that's what this administration was supposed to be. Am I missing something here? Susie Wiles is attacking Russell Vought as a right-wing zealot? Now you get the picture. This isn't a right-wing administration, folks. It's very anti-right-wing, actually. Starting to get the picture? She said Attorney General Pam Bondi completely whiffed in handling the Epstein files. Oh, well, golly gee. Nobody noticed that. That one, if it wasn't for Susie reporting, I don't know if we would have had that one. And we will have more on the Bondi Epstein files debacle. So here we go. They also quote Wiles talking about Trump in the Epstein files. Trump is in the file, and we know he's in the file. He was on Epstein's plane. He was on the manifest. Oh, boy. Now, this is going to lead us to the next portion here with Caroline Levitt. So Vanity Fair, they're doing these shots. I don't understand. Again, it's like, whose idea was this? They're doing these like zoom in face shots. And you know what? I didn't put it together until now. Remember what Trump said at the White House last week when he had that 5G spasm, whatever that deal was, the 5G spasm thing where he was just like on a different planet? None of what he said made any sense. It's like if you had to use a decoder to understand what he was saying. But remember, he thought it was about image enhancement. So he obviously, it would appear he got 5G confused with 4K, which is the video resolution. And now Vanity Fair comes out with these images like zoomed in of the cabinet members' faces. And yeah, it's not very friendly. It's not a friendly look. Is this what Trump was talking about? Now, I'm not so confident that's the case, but it is funny that this happens after he talks about that, because Trump does the same thing. Now, here's what happens here. Now, what's strange, if you look at this closely, It'll be more obvious with Caroline Levitt, and then things start to make more sense with her. But if you look at this closely, you can see it looks like, I don't know. I am a zero cosmetics person. If I have a zit on my nose, I wear it proudly. I just accept it. So I'm zero cosmetics. I've never worn makeup. And you go into some of these TV studios, their makeup team like corrals you and tries to force you to wear it. You have to be stern. You have to be strong. There's a lot of bullying tactics. You have to get mean. You have to get nasty. And you have to say, get out of my face. Don't touch me with that stuff. And they run away like cockroaches. But the women love it. So they get the administration all dolled up for this. And they're caking on the makeup. And yeah, when makeup looks good on a certain camera. Makeup looks better when you're using a certain camera, a cinema style camera shoot, photo shoot, whatever, when it actually looks natural with the different lights and angles and everything. But when you zoom in and you just look at a face covered in makeup, you look like a damn demon. You look like a damn monster. And that's what Trump does, by the way, when he wears makeup. He cakes it on, and then they zoom in. They call him the orange face, whatever. It's because of all the makeup he wears. So it's the same thing for Susie. Now, I don't know about lip injections, but people are pointing out it looks like there's lip injection scars around her lips. Now, she has very thin lips, so I don't know. That doesn't really make much sense to me, but I don't know how all of that stuff works. Maybe a woman would better understand. But then there's Caroline Levitt, and it's much worse. It's much worse with Levitt. Now, Levitt is a young woman. I think she's like 27, 28. But she cakes on the makeup for the cameras, and you can see it here. It's a gross look. I'm not a makeup guy. I actually find makeup to be extremely grotesque. Now, to the women listening, I get it. You got to put on some makeup. I'm not. Relax. But to me, like, if you go beyond one layer of makeup, I can't. It's like, I can tolerate it. I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm not going to think you're ugly. But at a certain point, it's just like, it's a turnoff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be near it. I don't want to touch it. I don't want it touching me. I don't want it in my house. It's like, if you're going to come into my house, can you please wipe that clown mask off of your face, please? But so here's Levitt, caked in the makeup. And it's clear that, I don't know what this is. It could just be a natural lip thing. I've never seen it before. I don't know what it is, but people are saying it looks like these are lip injection sites. Remember what Trump said about Caroline's mouth last week? She's got those lips, boom, 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 with the lips and the boom, boom, boom with the lips. What in the hell? Were we talking about lip injections? Were we talking about something more? What does Trump know about Caroline Levitt's lips? Very weird. And again, it's like, did he already see these photos? Did he already know these were coming out? Is that why he talked about the image quality and looks bad when your face is zoomed in? Is that why he's talking about Caroline Levitt's lips and the boom boom with the lips? Or is something else going on here? What is going on? Susie Wiles set this whole thing up. She set this whole thing up, and now Caroline Levitt's weird makeup face, lip injection sites. I don't know what's going on. Now you get that. Now you get that, guys. And you have nobody to thank but Susie Wiles. Congratulations. With the lips. She's got the lips that go boom, boom with the lips. Ladies, I'll tell you what. I'll open up the chat right now. What is that? What is this, guys? Is this I'm genuinely curious. Is she getting lip injection? I mean, it would appear that way. It would appear that she is very cosmetic. I think that she's got a lot of non-organic things on her body, let's say. Well, people are agreeing it's lip injection, Botox, fillers. You got set up by Susie Wiles, guys. How does it feel? But if you were wondering if there'd be any fallout from this, no. The entire administration racing to her defense today. These are kind of small, so you can't really see it in the post here from DMT, producer DMT here, but he highlighted every single member of the administration standing up for Wiles today. So, okay, they're not blaming her. They're standing with her. So that's that. Now here's Susie Wiles' response. The article published early this morning is a disingenuously framed hit piece on me and the finest president, White House staff, and cabinet in history. Yeah, what did you expect, Susie? If your discernment is so bad that you expected anything else from Vanity Fair, then you should be fired. Significant context was disregarded, and much of what I and others said about the team and the president was left out of the story. I assume after reading it that this was done to paint an overwhelmingly chaotic and negative narrative about the president and our team. Susie, how did you not know this? How does Trump consider you the most powerful woman in the world and laud you with praise of how brilliant you are, and you didn't know this? You didn't know this? How is that even possible? I have been warning people about this in the media now that there's a new burgeoning alternative media and some of us are coming of age. They're constantly getting reached out for interviews and quotes for stories. And people just ask me, they're like, hey, how do you deal with that? Do you have any recommendations? And I always say, just don't give them anything that you don't want them to print and just assume that everything you say to them is going to be taken out of context. Now, how do I know that? And Susie Wiles doesn't. Is she that ignorant? Is she that dumb? Did she just get played by Vanity Fair? How can you keep this around? If this is her level of discernment, how can you keep this around? This is an F. This is imbecile level discernment right here. And then she goes on with the same thing, greatest White House in the history of the world. Okay. So just more puff, just more propaganda. How is it that Susie Wiles let this one slide? 11 interviews, full access to the administration. And she didn't think, hey, guys, Vanity Fair is going to be hanging around the White House for a couple weeks here. Don't say anything to them you don't want them to print. Don't do anything in front of them that you don't want them to see or write about. Assume that everything they're going to do is going to be based off of a hit piece and taken out of context. Nobody got the warning. Susie Wiles said, I'm going to let Vanity Fair in here roam free, and then not warn anybody of what's going to happen. And then I'm going to tell you to go put on your makeup for a zoomed in face shot that makes you look like a monster. Susie, you didn't see this coming, huh? If this one gets, folks, this is like first grade stuff. This is like first grade stuff dealing with the media. This is like first grade stuff dealing with politics. If you didn't see this one, Susie, what are we doing here? This is just first grade level, and you didn't pass the test. No wonder why this administration is a disaster when that's your chief of staff. Caroline Leavitt. Chief of Staff Susie Wiles has helped President Trump achieve the most successful first 11 months in office of any president in American history. Oh, I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. Trump has no greater or more loyal advisor than Susie. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of loyalty there. More loyalty there than to the American people. More loyalty there to the people that fought for Trump and suffered for Trump and took significant amount of loss for Trump. No loyalty there, but to Susie, who can't even pass a first grade media literacy test. The entire administration is grateful for her steady leadership and united fully behind her. Steady leadership. Steady is definitely not a word I think anybody would use to describe this White House. Chaotic, a mess, a disaster, disloyal, betrayal. In fairness, there were some good news stories today. Federal jobs numbers are declining at a significant rate, meaning we're not hiring federal employees anymore. That was good. What was the other good one? There was another good one in the news today. There was that one. I forget about the other one. These things seem to just kind of come and go. Not much significance. All right, we're shrinking the size of the federal government, but not really. We're just giving it to the private donors. We're not actually shrinking the size of the federal government. We're just disguising it in the donor and special interest class instead. That's what we're doing. Now, J.D. Vance, he took a question on this. He was speaking to the public today. J.D. Vance took a question on this. And here was his candid, I'd say, response.
Vice President Jacob Bogage from the Washington Post. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Same to you.
Unfortunately, I have to ask a bit of an off-topic question from affordability because news events do intervene. And that is the interviews that White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles gave to Vanity Fair, in which she's quoted as referring to you as, excuse me, and again, not my words, sir, but a conspiracy theorist of a decade, and described your transformation from someone who once opposed President Trump to now his vice president as an act of political expediency. And I'd like to give you the chance to respond to that, sir.
Well, first of all, if Susie, I'll trust what you said. I haven't looked at the article. I of course have heard about it, but conspiracy theorist. Sometimes I am a conspiracy theorist, but I only believe in the conspiracy theories that are true.
Now, folks, this is don't miss the moment that just happened. Did you guys catch this moment? You might have missed it. Let me, did you catch the moment? Let's play it again.
I'll trust what you said. I haven't looked at the article. I of course have heard about it, but conspiracy theorist. Sometimes I am a conspiracy theorist, but I only believe in the conspiracy theories that are true.
Did you catch that, folks? This is what I've been trying to communicate. This is where Susie Wiles is gone. This is where the administration, except maybe J.D. Vance, quite frankly, except maybe J.D. Vance. This is where the administration is batting zero. They don't understand where the political discourse is in America. They don't understand the issues, what people are thinking, what people are talking about. Why did you get such a big round of applause there? Because now a lot of people on the right have embraced the idea of being a conspiracy theorist. Now a lot of people on the right look at the word conspiracy theory as either a term of endearment or an attack from somebody that cannot defend themselves in a debate. He says, oh, yeah, we believe in the conspiracy theories. They came true. Crowd erupts. It's like, what happens at these TPUSA events when people speak? What happens at these town halls when people ask questions? What happens at these debate forums when certain geopolitical topics break up? Where is the loudest round of applause? I think Vance gets it. Now, he might be kind of measuring his approach to all of this, but it's like, yeah, people believe in conspiracy theories. They don't believe Epstein killed himself. Yeah, people don't like the foreign policy. These are the things that get the biggest reaction from these right-wing crowds now. And the administration is trying to tamp it down and get it away. They don't want it anymore. It's like, that is your base. These are your people. Vance got it. The crowd got it.
And by the way, Susie and I have joked in private and in public about that for a long time. For example, I believed in the crazy conspiracy theory back in 2020 that it was stupid to mask 3-year-olds at the height of the COVID pandemic, that we should actually let them develop some language skills. You know, I believed in this crazy conspiracy theory that the media and the government were covering up the fact that Joe Biden was clearly unable to do the job. And I believed in the conspiracy theory that Joe Biden was trying to throw his political opponents in jail rather than win an argument against his political opponents. So, at least on some of these conspiracy theories, it turns out that a conspiracy theory is just something that was true 6 months before the media admitted it. And that's my understanding. Now, look, I do want to say something about Susie, though, because, again, having not read this article, Susie is a person I've come to know very, very well.
I'll tell you, Vance is smart, guys. Vance is smart. He's really politically savvy. I'll give him that. And I like Vance. I think he's if there's a bright spot in the administration, I think he's one of them. He might not be a gleaming bright spot, but he's a dim bright spot. He's there. He's shining. The problem is he's attached to this administration, and it's likely that anybody from this administration will be unelectable in 2028. That's the problem now. But notice what he does here. Notice what he does. See, Vance is actually tuned into the American people. Vance is actually receiving the frequency. So he's here to address the Susie Wiles deal, but he knows Susie Wiles isn't really popular. He knows there's a little bit of fallout, a little bit of fog around the issue with Susie Wiles and some of the decisions that are getting made. So instead of just diving right into that, instead he gives the crowd what they want. Hey, we're conspiracy theorists, and we're right about everything, aren't we? And then the crowd cheers, and it's like, okay, we feel good about this. And then he goes into the Susie Wiles. It's a beautiful butter them up before you hit them with the thing that they probably don't want to hear or agree with. Very politically savvy here by J.D. Vance.
And, you know, a lot of you probably ask yourself, what is it like behind the scenes? What's going on actually behind the scenes of the Trump administration? And I'll tell you, the president is exactly in private who he is in public. Like, I'll tell you a little story. Actually a week or so ago, I walk into the Oval Office and Marco and I are sitting there talking with the president about something. He says, stop. And he looks at our shoes and says, you guys have terrible shoes. So he goes and gets a shoe catalog. And remember, this is the Christmas season, so the president's got some holiday cheer. He goes and gets a shoe catalog and gets his favorite shoes and orders like 4 pairs of shoes for me and 4 pairs of shoes for Marco, because he's like, we need our vice president or secretary of state to look their very best. And, then we went back to talking about whatever major, international issue we were talking about. Again, he is exactly in private who he is in public. That's not true of most people in Washington, D.C. It's not. And I've seen so many people who will say one thing to the president's face, Democrats and Republicans, and then will do the exact opposite behind the scenes. You know why you know what they are, and you know why I really love Susie Wiles? Because Susie is who she is.
I love that. I love that they're traitors coming from the audience. Yeah, well, if this administration doesn't do anything about the traitors, it will be a complete failure, by the way.
In the president's presence, she's the same exact person when the president isn't around. I've never seen Susie Wiles say something to the president and then go and counteract him or subvert his will behind the scenes. And that's what you want in a staffer. Because as much as I love Susie, the American people didn't elect any staffer. They elected the president of the United States. And what you want...
Not as loud of a cheer as it was for the conspiracy theories. Not as loud of a cheer.
And what you want in a staffer is a person who understands they are there to effectuate the will of the American people, and they're there to follow the orders of the duly elected commander-in-chief of the United States. And Susie Wiles, we have our disagreements. We agree on much more than we disagree, but I've never seen her be disloyal to the president of the United States, and that makes her the best White House chief of staff that I think the president could ask for.
Yeah. We got a much louder applause out of the conspiracy theories. Maybe we should stick with that. Susie Wiles, not so popular. Conspiracy theorists, very popular. Very popular. All right, first hour in the books. We take a short break. We're going to come back with, there's some developing news right now with the Department of War in Rubio and the boat strikes, developing news on the Brown shooting, where the suspect is still at large. What is Kash Patel up to? We'll update you on all of that coming up on the other side of this hour break.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Navigating between the sane and insane. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, I got a couple developing things happening right now. As I'm live here, I'm working on a couple of guests. One that's a big guest that I just heard back from today. A very big guest we're trying to lock down for the show this week. And then I was getting into a debate on X with an account called Green Beret Nap Time. I wouldn't even say it was a debate. He was just attacking me. He didn't even make any points or counterpoints to what I was saying. But now I'm trying to get him. So, hey, if you want to debate me, I'll have you on the show. I've already lined up a couple of guys for a debate that come after me on X. So let's see if old Green Beret Nap Time wants to step up to the plate. We are now in touch. I have now sent him the invite. Let's see. You know, it's amazing. By the way, they got an update in this Brown situation. They've now got an enhanced video, multiple videos of the suspected shooter that's still on the loose. It's amazing. This guy looks like a fat, dumpy, probably foreigner. And he's still out there. They can't find him. Well, where's Cash Patel? Where is Cash Patel? We got an update for you on that. You know, it's funny. It's crazy. Honestly, it's crazy that this is where we're at. Now, it's healthy, and I always suspected that this would be the case. Don't get me wrong. And if you've been following my work for years, you know that I said that this is where American politics is going to go, that the right will become populist, and then there will be the split within the right, and the left will just be they're not be involved anymore. And then the right wing will have their debates about their issues. But I didn't expect it to be so lowbrow. I thought it would be a little more intellectual, a little more informed as far as the debates. But now it's just like debating leftists, quite frankly. Debating the new cultists and neocons that have emerged that are now claiming to be MAGA, debating them is just like debating leftists. They don't have any original thoughts. Their responses are completely predictable. So I'll just stop right there for now. But this seems to be where I'm going. This is my direction now. The cuck destroyer is now aimed at the right-wing cucks. Wow, who had that on their bingo card? Get ready. Get ready. So waiting to hear back on that situation. So where is Cash Patel? Anyway, as the Brown University shooter is still on the loose, Cash Patel is with his girlfriend, and they're doing the Katie Miller podcast. How about that?
We are so excited to be joined by Cash and his
Miller
beautiful girlfriend,
podcast
Alexis.
with
So just to
Cash
clarify, you're not Jewish.
Alexis.
I'm not. You are not from Israel.
Conspiracy theories.
No.
And
So
then,
how did we get to, are you a
guys,
Mossad agent?
You know, that's a great question.
Where's her ring?
I can't believe
Just
she
to
did
clarify,
this. It's
how
really,
often
actually, it's
has
really.
he traveled to see you since January 20th? Has there been one moment where you're like,
Katie
you can't
Miller
make this
asks
up?
them when they're getting engaged. Oh my gosh. You never do that. That's a setup. That's a setup. That's an imposition.
We are so excited to be joined by
And
Cash
I'm sitting
and
here
his
like,
beautiful girlfriend,
if it was
Alexis.
going to happen,
So just
I
to
feel like
clarify,
it
you're
would have
not
already
Jewish.
happened.
I'm not.
You are
Yeah.
not from Israel.
I'm not like
No.
the body
So
language
how did we get
expert.
to,
but,
are you a
know,
Mossad
I
agent?
dabble.
You know, that's a great question.
Body language here doesn't tell me that anybody's thinking
Just
about
to
a ring.
clarify,
But now he
how
has to.
often has he traveled to see you since
Now it's like he
January
has
20th?
to.
Is
And
there
at
been
least
one
write it
moment where you're
out.
like, you can't make this up?
No pun intended. It's like, why wouldn't he have already done it by now with all the drama surrounding this? But hey, it's good. It's good that Katie Miller can get the FBI director with his girlfriend to
We are
sit
so
down
excited
and
to
talk
be
about
joined
why
by
they aren't
Cash
engaged.
and his beautiful girlfriend, Alexis.
While there is a shooter on the loose. I think that that's all great, isn't it? I think that that's all fantastic. The president of Mexico is taking an issue with President Trump today. Mexican president criticizes U.S. move labeling fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. Isn't that amazing? Well, it's the same propaganda to start a war with Venezuela. They were like, all right, drug boats aren't working. What should we do next? Well, let's just take the oil. Well, okay, taking the oil didn't really didn't hit either. What should we do now? Well, you know, we did the weapons of mass destruction thing. That worked really well in the Middle East. Should we just bring it to Venezuela? Yeah, let's just do that. The people are stupid. American voters are stupid. Republicans are stupid. So let's just try that one. They didn't fall for the drugs. They didn't really get too excited about the oil tanker. So let's say weapons of mass destruction again. Let's try to start another war over weapons of mass destruction. That'll be great. That's MAGA, baby. That's Trump, baby. Yeah, we're fighting the establishment. Totally, man. We're fighting the establishment. This is different. It's different this time. No, it's literally the exact same. Now they're saying weapons of mass destruction. It is quite literally the exact same, actually. Now, why would the Mexican president care? Why would the Mexican president care? Because most of the fentanyl comes from Mexico. Because more than 90%, the official government numbers are 95% of the fentanyl in America comes from Mexico and comes from the Mexican cartels that mostly run the country, it seems. The whole thing about Venezuela fentanyl, lie, folks. It was a lie. And there was a heated exchange. There was a heated exchange moments ago with Hegseth and Rubio in the press of why they're not releasing the double tap video. Well, it's obvious. It's obvious why they're not releasing the double tap video. They don't want the public to see people swimming around just trying to survive and then getting killed. And then the pressure and the drama and the situation surrounding those circumstances would only be worse. So, of course, they're not going to release it. And so it was all an act. But Trump was smart when he said, well, they can do whatever they want with it. And the media tried to pin him to a commitment there, and he wouldn't do it. So Trump was smart not to commit to that. Because, of course, they're not going to release it. It was probably a war crime. It was probably a total war crime. So, of course, they don't want you to see their war crimes. And now the Mexican president is saying, wait a second, don't call fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction because that's where the fentanyl comes from, folks. Now, I don't know if the Mexican president is sitting back here thinking, oh, is this administration about to go to war with us? Is this administration about to go to war with the Mexican cartels? Or are they just going to continue the propaganda to start the war in Venezuela for oil and regime change? I'm friendly. The Mexican regime is friendly with the Trump administration. They're friendly for the geopolitical world order. They're not expecting pressure. The fentanyl can come over from Mexico all day long. As long as we're all cooperating in the same geopolitical agenda, then it's okay. So maybe she's a little afraid now that Trump is taking on fentanyl, knowing that it all comes from Mexico. But they're using the exact same propaganda, weapons of mass destruction. Relax, President Scheinbaum. He's not targeting you. You're protected. He's not going after the Mexican cartels. This is all a big stunt to try to get regime change war in Venezuela or make Maduro submit so that U.S. oil companies can come in and start pumping their oil, which I don't really think Maduro could do. That might spark some form of a revolution against him, so I don't really know if he can pay that price with this Western alliance now forming against him. But you can relax, Scheinbaum. Don't worry. You're just fine. You will be protected. Now, this was just a couple of the headlines today ahead of that press conference with Rubio and Hegseth. Pentagon escalates review into Senator Kelly over illegal orders video. You know, this is going to be an interesting one. And I don't know if they're really going to do anything about this. I don't even know if they can. But their bigger concern now, folks, is did they commit war crimes with these boat strikes? Believe me, that's their bigger concern. And it should be, actually. And it is. But so they're kind of throwing that out there just to distract you. And then there was this odd story. Pentagon plan calls for major power shifts within U.S. military. If adopted, the changes would complement other efforts by the Trump administration to move resources away from the Middle East and Europe. Now, there's been an ongoing story here about how Trump is trying to get troops out of Europe, get troops out of the Middle East, and then every time where it's like, okay, it's time to start this, something happens to keep them there. There's always something right before he's ready to make a move or make a commitment to bringing these troops home. Something happens and he has to keep them there. In fact, it just happened today. Now they're saying, well, if you want to end the Russia-Ukraine war, you have to keep the troops in Europe. How convenient. How convenient. And everybody knows Trump is prioritizing these peace deals. He wants that to kind of be his big legacy, I think, is the peace deals. So he's trying to get the peace deal done. He's trying to bring the troops home. And they say, well, you can't have both, Mr. President. You can't have both. So, again, this has been kind of an ongoing story about Trump trying to bring the troops home, get the troops out of Europe, get the troops out of the Middle East. And it's like every time when he's ready to make that initiative, every time when he's ready to make that next move, something happens and keeps him from doing it. So it looks like it's just more of the same here, which means something is going to happen in the Middle East, something is going to happen in Ukraine, and Trump is going to be forced to keep the troops there. That's what that means. Seen this play way too many times, ladies and gentlemen. Meanwhile, if you're in California, you're about to get some bad news, I think. Valero's billion-dollar exit. Newsom's regulations fuel California's gas crisis. Multiple oil refineries are leaving California. In fact, the biggest oil refineries are leaving California. Valero's $1.1 billion Benicia refinery exit by April 2026, driven by Gavin Newsom's regulations, threatens 8.6% of California's gas supply, job losses, and $1.21 per gallon hikes. So I think you already have the most expensive gas in California, and now you're about to go up even more because of Newsom's policies forcing the oil refineries out of California. They would rather pay, because this is how it's going to go. They're going to pay $1 billion to leave the state. They would rather pay $1 billion to get out of California than have to deal with the regulations anymore. That's how bad it is. And they're anticipating over $1 increase in the price of gasoline per gallon. Golden State exodus. Valero burns $1 billion just to get out of California. California just lost another giant. This one came with $1 billion receipt. Valero Energy is reportedly taking a staggering $1 billion loss to shut down and exit California by April 2026, rather than comply with the ever-expanding mandates pushed by Governor Gavin Newsom and his regulatory agencies. Pretty incredible stuff. Boy, oh boy, what do you do if you're in California? What do you do to avoid that? And, you know, there's another ongoing phenomenon, a story that's not getting too much coverage. But I think a lot of people bought these electric vehicles and they didn't really do all of their research. Go figure. Americans making a purchase off of a feel-good emotion and not doing their research. So what's been happening now after this rush on EVs is a lot of these cars are ending up in junkyards because they can't sell them and they can't pay for the new battery. The economy is not very good, and so they can't afford the new battery, which can cost more than $10,000 for a new car battery. Now, if you're driving a car and you're looking at a $10,000 expense, for most people, they're not they're not going to do it. Or maybe they have some form of a warranty on an engine or transmission, which is usually what these high-cost repairs would be, so they're able to kind of get it covered. It's not so expensive. But usually something like that, you're probably not paying it. But the problem is the cars won't run. And they won't sell. So they can't afford the new battery. They can't sell the car, and the car doesn't run. So they end up in these lots. And then they're just sitting there on the market, 10 grand, 12 grand, 15 grand, like some of them like 30, 40 grand under value, but nobody will buy them because nobody wants to buy the new battery. I'm not hearing too much about that. You're not hearing too much about the AI issues either. We go to the other side. We go to the East Coast. We go to Florida. Ron DeSantis gets it. Listen to what he's talking about when it comes to the emerging AI economy.
And, a hyperscale data center is using enough power that'd be the equivalent of a city of 500,000 people. And in some of the bigger ones, maybe even more than that. You also have a lot of water consumption. You have a big geographic footprint, which has environmental concerns. And so you have all these things. And, our point of view is, you should not have to pay one dime more in utility costs, water, power, any of this stuff because of this. These are some of the most wealthy companies in the history of humanity. They should not be able to offload costs onto people that are already strapped with high costs in other areas. And so, making sure that Floridians are protected against that, I think is really, really important. And I know a lot of people agree with that. The thing about the data centers is there's not really a big economic impact once they're created. Like, if it's constructed, people can make some money doing that. Obviously, there may be some jobs that can go. But once it's done, it employs like a half dozen people. And, these tech companies will likely bring in foreigners to do that on some visa, or they're not going to hire from your local community. That's just not what they do. So, from that, I think a lot of these communities are not supporting the construction in their area when they go before these boards now, because they're thinking like, okay, it's sucking a lot of resources, but is this really something that we need in our community? Is it something that's going to benefit the community? And by and large, this is across party lines. I think people are saying no dice on that. So I do think I think there's been a big sea change in how people have thought about that just in the last 6 to 9 months. And, it may be that some of the protections we have, end up being moot because it's just not something that's going to get any traction in Florida, period. But at the end of the day, this is not something that you should ever have to pay for, no subsidy, none of that. And we're going to make that very clear. We also...
Man, I got to tell you, Ron DeSantis, I think he's going to make a serious run here, guys. I think DeSantis is a very serious contender in 2028. And even though he kind of spent his wand early and he got bad advice to run against Trump in 2024 and that hurt him, I think he's recovered from that. I think he's made up whatever ground that he's lost. And now he's starting to emerge on the other side. Now he's getting back into the green. Now he's getting back into the positive. So really it was Florida and their success fighting against all the COVID tyranny, and DeSantis with just basic common sense freedom initiatives for Florida leading the way. When we went through that authoritarianism, that's when he kind of emerged and was like, okay, this guy can be president. But he got bad advice, or he thought to himself, now's the time to do it, when he should have waited till after Trump. Now, in hindsight, you might say, dang, depending on what you think about this administration, but it's all said and done. I got to tell you, though, I'm sitting here, and I made this analogy the other day, and I know I'm not alone. I'm really excited for what is going to happen in 2028. I really am. And the analogy I made was, this is like a sports season. And, obviously this isn't sports season where you say you're mathematically eliminated, but I mean, it seems like this administration, it seems like we know what it is and we know what it isn't now. I mean, we seem pretty confident of what we are going to get and what we aren't going to get from this administration. Now, it could turn around. It could still turn around. Quite frankly, it's going to have to turn around. But right now, it looks like a lost cause. Right now, it looks like the season is over. There's no postseason. There's no Super Bowl champion. There's no victory parade. There's none of that. It's just same old neocon garbage, same bad foreign policy. They're eventually going to crack down on speech, crack down on the Second Amendment, more foreign wars, just all the same garbage. No deep state arrests. So what this does now is it creates such a hyper intense void for 2028 in a new Republican Party platform, which is not so controlled by political correctness. And if you go back to the debates where you had Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley on the stage and you remember some of those fireworks, I think 2028 is going to be wild. I mean, you see what Ron DeSantis says. He doesn't mince words. He tells it as it is. He's not concerned about political correctness. Same thing with Vivek Ramaswamy. Who knows who else might emerge in 2028? Can you imagine if there's a Marjorie Taylor Greene up there? A Thomas Massey up there? It's going to be some of the most healthy political discussion that we've ever seen during a presidential debate. And I'm very much looking forward to it. What sucks is that it's so far away, right? It's so far away. And here we are stuck with this administration like, oh boy, here we go. What are we getting today? And then, you know, it happens. You're like, well, okay, I'm looking forward to next year now. It's like, all right, we're looking forward to next year. We're looking forward to next season. It seems like a lot of people are starting to cross that bridge, cross that threshold, and just saying, okay, this administration is what it is. What are we looking at for 2028? What are we looking at for the future of the Republican Party? But I anticipate the Republican field in 2028 is going to be heavy, and it is going to lack a certain political correctness to a degree that I don't think we've ever seen before. And really, you could say that Trump kind of shattered it in 2016. He kind of shattered that paradigm. But he was still the only one on the stage that was willing to go there. Now, you're going to have 5 or 6 people on the debate stage that are willing to go there and then start pressing the limits of how far they're willing to go. But I guess the question is, for the time being, what will we even have left at that point? What will we even have left of a country in 2028? Pam Bondi, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Bill and Hillary Clinton deposition and Jeffrey Epstein investigation pushed back to next month. Won't be hearing from them. And if that's a trend or a pattern of things to come, I don't anticipate you will be getting the Epstein list this week, even though by law they are supposed to release the Epstein files this Friday or by this Friday. I don't think they're going to do it. And if they do, it'll be so heavily redacted that it'll virtually be worthless. But as we talk about the failures of Pam Bondi and the complete swing and a miss on the Epstein files, folks, let's go back. Let's go back to this spring when Bondi was doing all the Epstein hype. Let's go back a few months ago and remember what Bondi was saying then compared to what's happening now in regards to the Epstein files.
We all did. And the FBI handed over a couple hundred pages of documents. But, you know, Sean, I gave them a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything. And a source had told me where the documents were being kept, Southern District of New York, CHOQ. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m., thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Cash is also, now that we have Cash here, it's a game changer, of course. And Cash is going to, Director Patel is going to get us a detailed report as to why the FBI withheld all of those documents.
Okay, I want to be clear because I think people got.
Has any of that Has any of that happened? Has any of that developed into anything worthwhile here as far as the Epstein files? That was this spring, folks. That was like 7-8 months ago. Has anything happened as far as anything she just said there? The answer? No.
Frustrated because they were expecting more. You were expecting more, and you didn't find out less than 24 hours before the release. You got a.
And I love how Con Inc. And I love how the neoconservatives and Con Inc. Oh, they all cared. Remember? Oh, we all cared about the Epstein files. We're all in. We're all getting the Epstein files. It's going to be great. We're all behind it. Go, go, go. And then slowly but surely, the attitude started to change in the White House. Slowly but surely, the attitude was, oh, it's a hoax. You're not getting anything. And then Con Inc., the neocons, Con Inc., the MAGA cult, they all just went along for the ride, and they don't care anymore either.
A whistleblower that confirmed that there were way more documents that they were supposed to turn over, and then you found out just before that.
Well, sure. And you're looking at these documents going, these aren't all the Epstein files. You know, there were flight logs, there were names and victims' names. And we're going, where's the rest of the stuff? And that's what the FBI had turned over to us. And so a source said, whoa, all this evidence is sitting in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah.
So based on that, I gave them the deadline, Friday at 8, a truckload of evidence arrived. It's now in the possession of the FBI. Cash is going to get me and himself really a detailed report as to why all these documents and evidence had been withheld. And, you know, we're going to go through it as fast as we can, but go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims of Epstein, because there are a lot of victims.
Well, you had identified in phase one over 250.
A lot of victims, but only Epstein, guys. That's it. Only Epstein and Maxwell. That's it.
Before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, is that the only thing that would be redacted? Will everything else be made public that you get in your possession?
Yeah, the FBI hasn't had, obviously, they haven't looked at the thousands of pages of documents that they've just received Friday.
Yeah.
But Cash has a team going through them, and it's always about protecting the victim. But you know what? We believe in transparency, and America has the right to know. The Biden administration sat on these documents. No one did anything with them. And why were they sitting in the Southern District of New York? I want a full report on that. You know, sadly, these people don't believe in transparency, but I think more, unfortunately, I think a lot of them don't believe in honesty. And it's a new day. It's a new administration. And everything's going to come out to the public. The public has a right to know. Americans have a right to know.
And that goes the same with the JFK files,
JFK,
RFK files,
Martin
MLK.
Luther King. Yep, absolutely.
What are the things that, and maybe some people don't understand the need to redact in the.
Absolutely, she says. And then here comes neocon Republican intelligence propaganda control asset Sean Hannity getting ready to build the narrative that, guess what, though? You're not going to get anything. Isn't it perfect? So after Bondi fluffs her gums about how you're going to get everything, this was 7-8 months ago, folks. Okay. This was 7-8 months ago. Okay. You've got nothing. And now the deadline is Friday. They're not going to deliver then either. And she wanted all of this stuff back in March. She was saying and demanding all of this stuff back in March. How's this one going? So there's Pam Bondi making big promises that she can't deliver or never was going to. And then here's Sean Hannity to let the American people know, not so fast.
Things that, and maybe some people don't understand the need to redact. In the case of a victim, that should be pretty obvious to people. What are the other things that maybe you'd have to redact?
Well,
national security?
No, of course, national security, some grand jury information, which is always going to be confidential, but we'll see. Let's look through them as fast as we can.
Yeah, let's see. And nobody's ever explained what the national security concerns are either. We keep hearing about it, but nobody's bothered to explain it to us.
And get it out to the American people, because the American people have a right to know, not only on that, but on Kennedy, on Martin Luther King, on all of these cases that the Biden administration has just sat on for all these years.
And so now what? Now what?
So yeah, it's really, it's not sad. It's infuriating that these people thought that they could sit on this information, but they can't. It's a new day, and we believe in transparency, and it's going to come out. And when we redact things, Sean, what we're going to do is not just pull pages out like they used to do. If something's redacted, you will know the line and you will know why it's redacted. The victim's name, identifying information of a victim.
Has any of that happened? Who's sitting on the files now, Pam? Does the public still have a right to know? And where's everybody? Where's all the gong-ho from MAGA? Where's all the gung-ho from everybody holding up the files and holding up the binders and talking about it and the big conspiracy and it's the biggest thing and Trump's delivering and we're fulfilling promises and we got cash now? Friday, Pam. Friday, Pam. And this isn't even the first Friday. This is like the 5th Friday where you've had to deliver it by Friday. Where we at, guys? Where are we at? Oh, it's a hoax now. Nobody cares about Epstein now. It's a hoax. So you guys were just faking it the whole time? So you're just frauds? Gotcha. Well, at least we're getting somewhere with that. That's good. We're getting somewhere now. You guys are admitting you're total frauds, and the people that support this crap are total cultists, total sellouts, total phonies. We're getting somewhere then. Not seeming to get the Epstein files, but okay. It's all so hard to believe. It's just like, how can this be real? Are you really not going to give us the files? Are you really going to pretend like you didn't say all of that? Are the Trump supporters really going to pretend like they weren't all gung-ho about this too? Are we really going to pretend like this isn't a big issue? Maybe they will deliver. Supposed to do it by Friday. I'd like to think that there's some sort of a strategy happening here, but I've had no proof of that through now 5 years of a Trump administration that they strategize anything really. As far as timing, delivery, and all of that. Friday, Pam. Let's hear from you Friday, Pam. What do you guys think? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think we're going to get those files. Can't even depose Bill Clinton. Yeah. All right, let's get into some economic clips here. I've got a series of clips as we close out the second hour. I've got a series of clips here dealing with the economy, the reality of the economy. We're going to hear about rent. We're going to hear about insurance. But this is the reality of maybe a majority of Americans right now that are going through financial hardship, going through financial stress. This is a majority of Americans. And if it's not a majority, it's very near being a majority. And so that's why this administration is so out of touch, or Trump himself is so out of touch when he continues to try to tell you how great the economy is, while the average American is sitting here looking at their bills, looking at their budget, wondering how they're going to make it, having to go deep into debt, credit card debt, what have you, just to get by another month. So we're going to go into some of these videos now. Let's start with this woman and what's happening with her healthcare costs.
My husband recently lost his job and he was the one that carried insurance. So we thought, since it's enrollment time, let's look at me carrying insurance. All right. We have the 2 of us and we have our 5 kids. So it's going to be a family plan. Now I make $2,600 a month after taxes. $2,600. And insurance was $1,100 a month. Now I understand this is all pre-tax and stuff. So maybe I'll have $1,800 a month after they take out insurance, for our 5 kids. And you'd say, well, go on Snap. Anyway, so I thought, you know what? Let's go look at the ACA options. Maybe there's some good ones out there. $1,600 a month for a $17,000 deductible. And they will only pay 50% after I meet that deductible. So I'm thinking we're just going to go die.
Americans are being priced out of insurance. Now, the insurance itself is a scam. Okay. So that's your first problem. The insurance is a scam. But if you can afford it, then you can afford it and you can get your health care. Now nobody can afford it. Now nobody can afford it. And what are these people supposed to do? What are you supposed to do if you can't afford it? You just don't have health care. Now, God forbid something bad happens. You end up in a hospital or you need some traumatic surgery. They'll take care of you. And then you'll be, 50, 100 grand in debt. And then that'll crush your credit. You'll go delinquent. You'll go bankrupt. Your credit score will go to 400. And this is the reality that Americans are looking at. And then President Trump scolds them and says, how dare you not believe it's the greatest economy ever? Here's another one. So this is just essentially it's the screenshot of that woman was talking about how for this is the bronze family plan for over $2,000 a month.
Look.
27,000 a year.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this.
13,000 deductible.
Somebody come and look at this.
20,000 out of pocket maximum. Folks, Americans don't have an extra $27,000 in their yearly budget right now. They're lucky if they have 10, maybe 12. And the cost of living is not going down. It might have paused a little bit. It's not getting dramatically worse, but it's not going down. They can't afford it. I think the next thing is going to be, I don't know what they'll call it. They'll come up with some buzzword, the healthcare epidemic, whatever. You're going to see that. You're going to see there is an epidemic of Americans without healthcare because they can't afford it. What are you going to do? And they can't afford car insurance either. What are you going to do, folks? The affordability crisis is real. And it's only getting worse. Here's another one, a little bit more detail.
I'm sorry. What's the point of fucking health insurance if you have to pay full price until you meet a deductible? My deductible is $6,000. I have to spend $6,000 in medical expenses before everything is taken care of and there's no copays. But yet I pay for that insurance. I pay $350 a month for that insurance. Huh? What? I'm sorry. Make that make sense. That makes absolutely no sense in my head. I have to pay full price for all medical expenses, which every year I'm not going to spend $6,000. Huh? What? Huh? I'm sorry.
It's amazing watching the entire fraud system, the entire scam system that Americans have been forced into, which again, it's like when you can afford it, you kind of just do it. It's like, all right, I can afford it. I can still afford my lifestyle, so you don't make as much of a fuss. But now nobody can afford it. Now nobody can afford it, so they're looking into it, and they're saying, what the hell is going on? I can't afford this. And then they're saying, okay, the whole thing is a scam. This whole country is broken. So you have to wonder, is the system collapsing organically? Is the system designed for collapse? Is this all happening right now for a reason to bring us into something else? But that's what's happening. And by the way, I think it was Stephen Moore, who's a member of the Trump administration, who was bashing younger generations. Of course, boomer class, everything's our fault. And I got to say this. I don't even know how to properly frame this or box this other than to just maybe go from the gut. What the older generations have left for their lineage is really sad, to put it lightly. It's really beyond sad. It's selfish. And then it's arrogant. It's entitlement. The older generations have left their kids and grandkids with an absolute mess, with an absolute nightmare. And then they just turn around and say, oh, you're lazy. Oh, you don't want to work. Oh, it's your fault. Meanwhile, Gen X, millennials, we're sitting here like, what are you talking about? We did exactly what you wanted us to do. We did exactly what you told us to do. We graduated. We went to college. We got a degree. We did whatever we had to do it. We got into the workplace, and now we're broke. There's no jobs. We're in record debt. The cost of living has skyrocketed. And then the older generations that left them with this mess, that left them with this nightmare, that allowed our political system to get this corrupt, by the way, and then they sit there and they blame you for it. And you're like, what are you talking about? There's no way out. I did exactly what you told me to do. And now it's my fault? No. No, the older generations left their kids and grandkids with a complete nightmare, with nothing but corruption and destruction, and now they're blaming them for it. Now, I hear a lot about this, and they say, well, you got a stupid, worthless degree. Some of that might be true. But it's not all the time true. Here's a young woman. She really liked school. She did really well in school. She got 4 degrees, including a master's. Young girl, good looking too, and she can't even land a job.
Can someone explain to me how I have 4 degrees and still can't get a job? BA in communication, BA in Spanish, BFA in dance. Get ready for this one. Master's degree in freaking journalism. Mind you, I've gotten laid off not once, not twice, but 3 times in the span of 2 years. So if you're feeling behind, just know you're not alone. Basically, we're all cooked.
And that's how a lot of people feel right now in these younger generations. And then the boomers just say, yeah, it's your fault. You're lazy. You got a worthless degree. You know, it's funny. She shows that master's in journalism. And so much of life really is being able to read and react, and the velocity of which you can do so. It's like a quarterback on a football field. Can you read and react? Are you able to adapt to a defense? And quite frankly, just some aren't. They're very narrow-minded, narrow-sided, like they have blinders on. They're saying, no, this is the path to success. So they're not reading and reacting. They're just saying, this is the path to success. This young girl sounds like a case. She's obviously a good student. She probably likes school. So she says, I'm just going to go study a bunch, get a bunch of degrees. You'd think multiple languages, plenty of jobs you can get with that. Masters in journalism. Well, that's got to take you somewhere. No. And you got to be able to read and react. And I remember I was a lot younger man. It's probably like 23 or 24. And I actually did a brief speaking tour just because I knew some people in young schools, and I was working high school and college sports gigs. And I was able to meet people that worked at universities or that worked at these high schools, you know, principals, dean of students, whatnot. I'd meet them and they liked me, and they'd say, hey, would you come speak to my communications class? Would you come speak to my PR class, my journalism class, my internet media class, whatever? So I did a small series of speaking events when I was working in college sports and high school sports. And I basically had the same message to all of them, which was kind of anti-college in a way, but I remember I said, look, you can study and you can get your degrees and get good grades, and that's good, and that's good experience, and it'll help you on a resume for a couple years when you're looking for an entry-level job. But really, the new media is an independent media, and the new process is building your own thing. Folks, I realized that when I was like 23, 24. And the reason why I bring up her master's in journalism, I had a rare case where I got accepted into the journalism school at the University of Missouri, Mizzou. It's one of the top journalism schools in the country. I was one of the rare people that got accepted as a freshman. There was a small handful of us. We all became friends. And it didn't take long through that process. And this is somebody who I did writing and editing for 3 years in high school. I did video reporting, editing, started a whole morning news program at my high school. So it was like I kind of already learned all this stuff. And I get in there and I'm in the journalism school and I'm like, there's just nothing for me here. There's nothing for me here. I'm not going to go into this master's program, spend 6 years in this expensive program. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do it. And so I dropped out of the J school. And people were stunned. They couldn't believe it. So it's not worth my time. This isn't how the media works anymore. I can go write a story right now on the internet and publish it and probably get more views than the average person that went through this program and writes for the local news here in Columbia, Missouri. So I was an idiot, right? I'm an idiot dropping out of J school. And I just transferred to psychology because I liked it. And quite frankly, it was really easy for me to get straight A's in psychology with very little effort. So that was kind of my motivation there. I liked it. It was easy. But then you get the degree in psychology. You're like, well, I'm not going to do anything with this. So I wanted a media degree. So I got the media studies degree. It took me about 6 years, worked up a bunch of debt. But that's what I'm saying. It's like you now it's almost like college is more of a detriment. Unless you're going to be an engineer, a doctor, some of these fields, most college education is detrimental to your actual growth and starting your career, especially in media. Media may be one of the better examples, but business, any of that stuff. And so it's funny when I'm seeing this girl, because I know so many exactly like her. I remember so many students exactly like that when I was in college. It's like, no, I just got to go to school and get good grades and get the degrees. And I'm sitting here shaking my head like, okay. It's like, I'm no better. I'm coming out with debt too, but that ain't going to do it for you. Oh, you're going to go get a master's degree. Oh, you're going to go get a second degree. Oh, you're going to go into college for 8 years and $150,000 in debt. Oh, how are you going to pay it off? Well, I'm going to get a great job. Oh, have you looked at the job market? Have you even been in the job market before? No, I'm a college student. Oh, okay. So I don't feel bad. I warned the kids I talked to. Here's one. This is how bad it is in California. College students can't even afford a place to live. They can't even afford a place to live. So people are living in their cars. Now, this is wild to me because anybody that's been to a big university knows every once in a while there's a guy that needs a place to crash for some time or whatever. So the places where I lived in college for my first couple of years, we almost always had an extra body living on the couch until they figured out what they were going to do. I guess these people don't even have that option anymore. They don't even have a friend or anybody that can take them in until they land on their feet. Does that not even happen anymore? So now homeless college kids are living in their car, and California is trying to make policies to protect them.
Homeless college students have this exclusive campus parking lot so they can sleep in their cars at night. And in California, there have been multiple bills that want this at your college also. This is Long Beach City College. The program here also offers these students showers, Wi-Fi, food, and all-night security. It also has referral programs for jobs and to find more permanent housing. Around 70 students at this college sleep in their cars at night. California has become so unaffordable that last year, 1 in 4 community college students reported homelessness and 10% of state school students reported homelessness. I talked to one of these students here who does Uber Eats while also going to classes. She's also juggling multiple job interviews. I really need to express this. What you see here is not laziness. What you're seeing here is years of failed state policies when it's so expensive or difficult to build housing in the state. These are people trying to pursue a higher education with whatever means they can, even in these conditions, to hopefully obtain a better life. I've also been told by multiple people here that they've seen success stories through this program and have seen people get back up on their feet. Over the past 2 years, 2 bills have been introduced to make this a statewide program required at all community and state colleges. California is one of the best places on earth, but it's been a bad few years when your state's best solutions to its problems start looking dystopia.
So homelessness is just the common thing now. The common lifestyle in America is being homeless, and now we're going to have homeless programs. That's make America great again. That's the American way, huh? Why? Why is our economy in such dire straits? Well, maybe I'll have some of those answers on the other side.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
It's the fastest 3 hours on the internet. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right. I don't even know if this is worth our time. And I want to get back into the show content here, why the economy is so bad. But I just figured I'd address this because I'm getting called a liar and a coward and scared and all of this stuff from this Green Beret nap time account. And he says that I'm scared of him and I won't have him on my show. And now he's doing an entire show dedicated to me being scared. So I just sent I sent him the invite. I literally invited him on the show today multiple times through X replies. And then I sent him a direct message. So as he's literally on air saying that I won't invite him on the show, doing a whole stream saying that I'm too scared of him, I have to post the screenshot. So I posted the screenshot. It's now been an hour, maybe more, since I sent him the invite. And he literally started a live stream more than half an hour after I sent him the invite. So I send him an invite to come on my show, and then he starts a live stream saying I'm too scared to have him on my show. You guys, look, I appreciate any man that is willing to debate. I love it. In fact, it happens a lot. I disagree with somebody on X. We have a passionate debate, and we say, let's have a debate in a stream, and we get it done. I got 2 of those coming up before Christmas. I respect that. I like that. I like being able, it's very important to me to be able to have passionate disagreements and political discussions and, clink glasses and break bread at the end of it and say, okay, man to man, we did this. But I'm not going to sit here and just get lied about. I'm not going to sit here and let this person say that I didn't invite them on the show when there's literally a message in their inbox with the invite. I'll send them the link. I'll even send him the link just to make it even more fun. I'm sending him the link right now. There you go. I have now sent him the link to come into this show. Look at this. Here, look. I almost don't even want to say it because I don't want to hurt my own cause here. But it's just like, clearly these people have no idea who they're dealing with. Like, who do you think I am? Do you have any idea who I am? I'm afraid of a debate? Look at this, guys. Look at this. He's literally on air. He did an entire stream saying that I'm scared to debate him. As the invite, he's on air right now. As the invite is sitting in his inbox. Literally the invite. He's doing a whole show dedicated to me, saying I'm too scared to debate him, when he's the one that called me out, and I responded and sent him a debate invite, and he has the link to come into the studio right now in his inbox. Literally. It's not even worth your time. It's so stupid. It's so pathetic. It's so conservative. But there you go. Here we go. All right. I'm interrupting my show now to bring you on because we had an agreement today, and you called me scared while the invite was sitting in your inbox. So here you are. So you have an issue.
You sent that invite 5:06 p.m. All right.
What are you talking about? I sent you a message. It doesn't matter. You're in here now. So what are your issues with me? You come after me on X. So what are your issues with me?
My issues with you are that you push lies. You have a massive following, and you consistently push lies against Israel.
Name one
that aren't true. Now, if we want to have
no, name one lie.
Let's go pull some up.
Go ahead. I'll be waiting. It's amazing. You'd think you'd have that knowledge to make such a claim. You'd think you'd have that knowledge readily available, but you're stuttering now. So go ahead. You're wasting all of our time now. Go ahead.
I'm not stuttering. You're interrupting. So the claim that you made that, do you agree with what the IDF did in Gaza? Assuming so you're saying that there was a genocide in Gaza. Is that what you're pushing right now? Is that your thought process?
Who said that? Who said that? Did I say that?
You're implying it. Were you not?
I'm implying it. So I didn't say it though.
This is the exact problem with people like you. I was implying it, but I didn't say it.
I didn't say I implied it, and I didn't say it. You said it. You literally said that. So you've said two things about me that aren't true. Oh, okay. So let's get some facts straight. How many people has Israel killed in Palestine?
Total combatants, 30,000, 6,000 to 7,000 civilians.
So you can't. So again, the question was
1.5 to 1 ratio.
Okay. The question was how many people has Israel killed in the Gaza Strip in Palestine? How many people?
I can't give you an exact answer on that because one, there's a war. There was a war going on.
Do you trust President Trump? Do you trust President Trump?
Are you on the talk? You
don't talk. You don't know anything. You come to a debate with no information. The number is 70,000. The number is 70,000. That's the official number that the Trump administration has confirmed is 70,000. 30,000 are women and children. Do you support that?
30,000 was not women and children. That was never pushed by the Trump administration. That was pushed by the Gaza Health Ministry, which is
Trump never
Hamas.
said 70,000. Trump never said that. Is your claim right here?
I don't know what Trump said. I'm not talking about
anything.
That.
So again,
I'm talking about the number that
again, you have no information for this debate. Okay,
which is Hamas.
Okay. So let's say that 30,000 women and children were killed. Would you be okay with that?
I mean, obviously the goal is never to kill women and children, but when you're prosecuting a war against a terrorist organization in an urban environment, especially in one in such a small area as Gaza, there's going to be casualties that happen. And Hamas
this is amazing.
plans it that way. Hamas
amazing.
hides behind civilian populaces, and Hamas keeps them from leaving from targeted buildings, even after roof knockers, even after they've been told that there's going to be a strike coming. So you're being disingenuous about this whole thing, and then you're coming off all super strong. Like if we were sitting in a room together right now, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be acting as tough as you are. But I'll allow that to happen because it's a little bit ridiculous that you're going to sit here and say that there was a hint at there was a genocide and start throwing out numbers. You want to throw out numbers? How many people did we kill in Tokyo firebombing alone in 48 hours?
So now you're talking about something completely different. So this is the woke.
I'm talking about war.
First you have to defend death. War? So the woke right, first they have to defend death, and then when they can't win the debate, they have to talk about something else. They have to deflect and talk about something else. So so what are you talking about now? So far you have 0 lies that I've told. So you come first, you say I'm scared while the debate is sitting in your inbox. Then you come on here and say I'm lying, but you still haven't said one lie.
Just sent the debate.
One lie. One lie.
You literally sent it 4 minutes ago. I have a timestamp on it. Why are you lying?
Dude, I literally posted the screenshot. You understand that I posted the screenshot of the original message over an hour ago? Is there anything that you can be honest about? Is there anything that you know? Tell me one thing I've lied about.
You lie all the time. You vilify Jews in Israel all of the time, dude. I see it. I don't
tell me one lie.
I don't listen to all of your stuff, but I see what you do.
So you know
you're a propagandist, and you're a liar, and you know you are, and you know you are.
Right, here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do.
No. You're gonna let me talk. You talk for a living on this show. You're gonna let me talk. All right. You're not playing this bully game where you get to do whatever you want. You're going to sit here and you're going to ask me for a debate, a good-natured debate.
I'm asking you for one thing I've lied about.
You let me talk?
Tell me one thing I've lied about. One.
Are you going to let me talk?
I will shut up.
Just tell me one thing. Debate.
Just tell me one thing.
I lay out, you ask me these questions, and I lay out and destroy every single one of your questions. And then you give a 3-sentence response about that everything I said was just propaganda. Did you actually even read the article? Did you look at anything that I have actually worked on? Did you? Did you read the post that I did?
I'm just waiting for you to say one thing I've lied about. That's it. I'm just waiting for one.
Oh my God. You lie about Israel. You lie about Gaza. You lie about that all of the time. You lie about it all the time.
Name one.
You lie about it all the time. Go on your feed.
Dude, this is pathetic. I lie about it all the time. You can't name one thing?
Yeah, I literally am lying. Yeah, I'm telling you what you're lying about right now. I'm telling you. You are lying about Gaza and about Israel all of the time.
What? Tell me one thing.
I don't even care about Israel. I just care about people who have 500,000 followers saying lies all the time.
So name one, dude. So name one.
You lie about Israel all of the time.
Do you have anything else to say? Or are you going to keep wasting my audience's time? Tell me one thing I lied about. Tell me
what the biggest audience you have because I'm coming into your show right now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
So let's talk about what you said to me, right? So let's go through. Let me pull this up. I'm gonna read
you put me on a list. That's what you did because you're woke right. So you put me on a list, just like the woke left likes to make.
How am I woke right?
So you started that. Well, first you have to defend death. So that's woke. You put me on a list. That's woke.
How am I defending
death? On this show, and then you come on this show and make claims that you can't back up. So all of these things are core tenets of woke. You're the woke right.
Mm-hmm. I'm the woke right. Okay.
Yes.
I'm the woke right.
Yes.
You are legit a populist, and you've been a populist since you were at InfoWars, and you're still doing all that same stuff today, and you're still pushing all of the same propaganda. You're still pushing it.
Name one.
How many has Mike Huckabee saved in Israel by bringing people to Jesus Christ?
That's a great question. How many souls? Are you a Christian?
Of course I'm a Christian.
So you believe that the path to salvation is through Jesus Christ?
I do.
It's one of the main cores of Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm glad we agree. So how many people has Mike Huckabee saved? How many souls has Mike Huckabee saved in Israel by converting them to Christianity? How many people has Mike Huckabee brought to Jesus Christ in Israel? That was my question. I don't know what that has to do with you, but okay. So that was my question. You have an answer?
Who's going to be able to answer? This is a hypothetical. It's like, again, this is another thing you do. You ask these. You're like, I was just asking questions, bro. It's insane, dude.
You don't like asking questions? You don't like people that ask questions?
When you ask questions the way that you do, like implying that there's something else about it.
Oh, okay. Got you. What would I be implying then?
You're implying that he's somehow taken over by Israel or whatever it is. Whatever your little.
I simply asked if he's converted anybody, if he's brought anybody to Jesus Christ. That was my question.
Mm-hmm.
So you have no answer there. I don't even know why you brought that up. So you keep reaching here. I'm not going to do this very long. Do you have anything?
I'm not reaching for anything, bro.
Do you have any point?
You sit here and you made the comment about the IDF. You said you support their actions, what the IDF did. Absolutely. They prosecuted one of the cleanest wars that you can. The civilian casualties were incredibly low. Again, in Tokyo alone, we killed 100,000 people in 48 hours with firebombs. So are we war criminals? Does that make the United States more war criminals?
Well, you're deflecting, but yes,
our
government, the United States military,
comparison of wartime scenarios in urban combat.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's not?
What's not?
Talking about two different cities being bombarded. It's not that doesn't.
So I thought we were talking about Gaza. So I thought we were talking about Gaza. I don't know what you're talking about.
We are talking about Gaza. You're saying that 70,000 people. You're saying that 70,000 people dead in a 2-year war is some extravagant thing. We killed 100,000 people in Tokyo in 48 hours.
So that's great. So you're defending the death of innocent women and children. That's good. I'm glad that you're being honest. That's your stance.
God, see, this is why people like you are so insufferable, dude. Like, no, I'm not defending that. I'm talking about the realities of war.
But
how much war have you been in? How much time did you serve?
I've never been in the military.
How much war strategy have you done?
What is that?
How much expertise in anything but sitting in front of that microphone do you actually have in this world?
So you're
what are you good at?
All right, that's
what
fair.
What are you good at other than this?
Hold on. Are you're military? You're a veteran?
Yes.
All right, I respect that. All right, hold on. I don't contend that. I'll sacrifice that. You've got the experience. But since you asked, I'll go like this. How is it that Israel is able to penetrate Iran to such a specific degree that they can put a miniature explosive device on all of its targets in Iran, but they can't operate systematically in Gaza to spare innocent lives?
They do. They hit.
Your whole point of contention is that they don't, but that's okay because it's war.
Bro, do you know what they did to Gaza with all of the money they had for almost 20 years? They built tunnels. They turned every piece of thing that they had into war fighting things to help them war fight against Israel. Like this is like,
all right. So, okay.
Are you serious?
So let me ask you this. Do you want to continue to fund the IDF?
We don't fund the IDF.
The United States doesn't give Israel military support and financial.
You're talking about $3.8 billion, right? So 0.056% of our national budget, annual budget.
It's way bigger than that.
It's
way bigger than that. Yeah, it is. But again, so are you okay financially supporting the IDF? Are you okay financially supporting Israel? Do you support that?
I absolutely support that. You want me to tell you why?
Sure, go ahead. Explain to me how you
obviously didn't read the article.
Explain to my audience how you like your tax dollars going to killing children, please.
See, and then you frame it like that, like such a little piece
That's
of
true.
Shit.
That's true.
Oh, it's framing it to go kill kids. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Did the IDF kill kids?
Israel is a proxy for us.
Did the IDF kill kids in Gaza?
In the Middle East. The $3.8 billion that we give, there's 75% of that is required to come back into our own defenses, that they have to buy weapons.
You like the military-industrial complex. I love this. So you're a fan of the military-industrial complex. You love funding the military-industrial complex. You love being a slave.
If we did not have Israel there, we would have to either have carriers or we would have to man more bases with our own tax dollars and our own boots on the ground to ensure that everything in the Middle East remained how it is. So this is nothing. How much strategy and planning experience do you have?
Yeah.
How much military strategy do you know?
True, because our foreign policy in the Middle East has been so great, hasn't it? Hasn't it been great?
No, I'll absolutely agree that our foreign policy in the
there we
Middle East has
There
been
we
terrible, but most of that has been against Israel's guidance.
You're right.
Israel didn't want us to go in Iraq.
You're
That's a
right.
fact.
Netanyahu hasn't been telling us to do.
Netanyahu, when we invaded Iraq, Netanyahu wasn't the prime minister.
Who came to Congress since the 1980s saying we have to go into Iraq, we have to go into Afghanistan, and we need to do regime change?
Netanyahu was not the prime minister.
It was literally that's not what I asked. I said who went in front of Congress and said we have to go into these countries. That was Benjamin Netanyahu. He's been doing it since.
I don't necessarily agree with Benjamin Netanyahu.
He told us
what I'm telling you right now
is
that they did not want us to go into Iraq. They did not want us to implement Arab Spring, and we did all that. They didn't want us to overthrow the Shah of Iran.
So,
We
okay,
did that on our own.
so we're talking about something completely irrelevant to the debate. You took an issue of what I said about the IDF. That was your whole point of contention, and you can't really explain it. So now you're talking about Tokyo. You're talking about
the IDF hasn't done anything wrong. Now, are there instances where the IDF has done things that maybe they shouldn't have? Absolutely. It's war, dude. It's war.
All right, I'll tell you what. I want to say, I want digitally shake your hand. I'm glad you came on. I respect you. You're a veteran.
God, you're a baby, dude. You're a child. You're a child. Anybody that listens to you and believes you is guzzling down propaganda.
Right.
This is all you do.
You just literally repeat a bunch
Notice
of
how you framed your question to me. Notice how you framed your question to me about giving money to Israel or whatever. You were like, oh, so you stand behind killing babies. And that's, you know what that is? That's what a leftist does. That's exactly what a leftist does. And that's what you are. That's absolutely what you are. You're a chameleon. You're going to hide and you're going to play this game. But at the end of whenever it comes, time is due, you're going to fall in and you're going to go with whoever is in power, because that's the kind of person
Trump is in power. What are you talking about? Trump is in power. All right. Well,
I know Trump is in power. And if Trump wasn't in power,
you just insulted me and now you've embarrassed me. I tried to have a cordial exit with you and show you respect.
You did not try to have a cordial conversation. You want to have a conversation? Then let me talk. You want to talk about stuff?
You're actually really
What
sad.
do you not know about the Middle East? Because I think it's a lot.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to get back to my show because you're wasting my audience's time. You haven't proved any point. You just got destroyed in the debate. You just embarrassed yourself.
No, you embarrassed yourself, bro.
You could give me one point of contention. You offer nothing to my audience. All you do is parrot propaganda. Every attack you made
have I parroted? What propaganda? Name it.
You're sitting here telling me that, oh, no, it's the cleanest operation ever. It's the cleanest
It
operation.
100% is.
If the United States with
civilian
Israel,
deaths
the Middle East would be a
for
disaster.
a lot of our operations were 15-1, and they're at 1.5 to 1.
If you operated like the IDF did in Gaza, you would be brought in for a military tribunal.
That's the stupidest thing you could have ever. No, are you serious?
Yeah, if you were shooting kids, if you were shooting innocent kids and bombing,
when did they shoot kids? When did they shoot innocent kids?
You just don't realize that they've literally drawn kids' bodies with bullet wounds in them and bullet casings in them and everything else. You know that?
Bullet casings in them? Did you hear yourself?
Bullet, not a
bullet casings in people. Is that what you said?
Wait,
bullet casings. It's not a magazine after a round goes through a barrel. Are you serious right now? No. And again, in a war scenario, guess what? Stuff is going to happen.
Okay, great. I want nothing to do with it.
Civilian casualties are a terrible part of war, but they are a part of war. This is another reason why we should talk about the realities of war and why you shouldn't start one. Why you shouldn't send 6,000 militants across a border and kill people in their own homes and kill them at concerts and rape them in front of their family. So this all happened, and that's real. That happened, right?
Yeah. 3 Americans just died in Syria. Okay. Do you know who tried to stop them from going?
You know who killed them? Islamic terrorists. And you know
why
what?
are they there?
You push Islamic terrorist propaganda.
Okay.
That's who you're on the side of.
Yeah, nice. Really intellectual.
Go buy a house in Qatar, bro. You said you wanted to. Go do it.
Look at you. Look at you. You're great. You are fun. So any other points of contention before I let you go here with me?
You were supposed to tell me the propaganda that I was pushing.
I just told you. You said it was a clean operation.
It was 100% a clean operation. That's not propaganda. If you look at the actual metrics of it, that's absolutely true. That's from official sources. This is not like made up. You're going to look at the Gaza Health Ministry, or you're taking all your stuff from Al Jazeera, which is
Trump
insane.
Said that. Trump said 70,000. That was Trump.
Where? Show me where Trump said 70,000.
I follow news. I pay attention to news. I don't know what you do, but this is what I do for a living. You recognize that? I have a big following.
What you do for a living is you get in front of a microphone and you lie. That's all you do.
Name one lie. Again, you haven't said one lie. That was your whole thing.
Said numerous times. You lie all the time. You're sitting here lying about right now. You just lied about me supporting an ally and saying that I want to kill children because of that. You're a liar. That's a lie. That is a lie. It's a lie. It's propaganda. You're framing the question so that you can use it against me. And this is a classic tactic. This isn't like some little crazy world you're living in. This is real life. And the stuff that you are pushing is going to get people hurt. And that's what pisses me
here
off.
we go. Here's more woke speak. Yeah, keep going.
Woke speech. Like, again, see, and then you label it like this. Like, whatever, bro. Dude, keep doing what you're doing. You know, keep misleading all of the people that watch your shows. And it doesn't really even matter. And all the groypers out there, and you're like, 7,000. Dude, I'm a Christian from Texas. I don't get paid by anybody. I have a regular job. I don't do this for a living.
I've never
I would be glad to get on here and tell Owen that he's an idiot and that he's a liar, because he is. And you just lost in a debate to an idiot and a liar. So how does that feel? I didn't lose anything, bro. Anybody that watches it has a brain, knows exactly what you're doing, and knows everything that I just pulled out.
You made a really strong point. Well, again, I'll try this again. I respect you. You came on the show. You talked some trash. You came on the show. You had a conversation with me. I respect that. I respect you as a veteran. I have fun doing this. So you can go out.
So what's our ROI from Israel then?
Oh, see, here comes the propaganda. The ROI propaganda. How many lives is it worth? How many lives is it worth?
What do you mean, how many lives?
How many American lives is it worth to support Israel?
How many lives is it worth? We don't have to put boots on the ground. We don't have to have our soldiers over there doing stuff, because because the Levant is taken care of by Israel. We don't have to do that.
Ridiculous.
So do you want our soldiers to go over there and have to deal with that more? You want more people in Syria?
Is your argument that no Americans have died in the Middle East?
I never said that.
Okay, so you're admitting Americans died in the Middle East for these wars. So I asked you how many American lives are worth it.
Israel did not want us to go into Iraq. So you're saying that we went into Iraq because of Israel?
How many American lives is worth it to be involved in the Middle East? That's my question. How many American lives?
We have to be involved in the Middle East, because if we're not involved in the Middle East, then they will come to us. Like, dude, the level of stupidity that you people have about strategy and about the world and how everything actually works is insane. Use a little gold mine and you're like, I know everything.
Who's coming to us?
Everything that I pulled from on my article on the ROI from Israel is from the U.S. State Department. It's from Congressional Research.
Literal state propaganda. Congratulations.
Bureau of Economics Analysis.
That's literal state propaganda.
Okay. So are you saying that all of that is propaganda?
You're the one citing state propaganda reports, not me.
So you're saying that anything that the state puts out is propaganda.
What do you mean they're coming here? What does that mean? You say they're coming here. What does that mean?
If they're not fighting Israel in the Middle East, if they're not fighting for that, where do you think they're headed next?
Why would they come here? For what?
They're already here, dude.
Yeah, because we have bad policy
in New York City.
Yeah, okay. So what's your point, though? Why are they coming here?
They're coming here they're an expansionist. Islam is an expansionist religion that wants to take over and create the world as a
They don't have to come here.
Are you trying to argue now that Islamists aren't trying to take over the Western world?
Again, I never said that. I'm asking you what that means when you say they're coming here. And it's funny because you actually just admitted it. You're backing off. They're fighting Israel in Israel, but they can't touch it. So now they're coming to America that funds and supports Israel to do harm here.
They would come to America and do harm on us no matter what.
No matter what? When did that start? For 250 years of America's existence, when did this start happening?
When did that start? It's been happening for decades. Are you serious?
Oh, okay. So it hasn't happened for the 250-year history of this country.
God. Israel wasn't a state for 250 years either. So what's your point on that?
Oh, wow. Thank you.
What's your point? Oh, this is what you do? Whoa. That's what you do? What? You just made some valid point? You didn't make a point. You're talking about the creation of the United States 250 years ago and then trying to conflate it with this now? That's what you're doing?
That's the problem. You don't get the point.
You're not making a point. You're doing the same thing you always do.
No, I'm making a very strong point that America doesn't need Israel. America needs to decouple from the Middle East, and the America way of life and standard has gone nothing but negative and downwards since we got involved in the Middle East and since we started working with Israel on foreign
domestic
policy.
issues in America have nothing to do with our foreign policy in the Middle East.
Really?
Are you serious?
Really?
Are you serious? All foreign aid together is a tiny percentage of our national budget. We're spending trillions of dollars on welfare to people who don't work. And you're sitting here talking about the evil Jews. This is my entire point.
What?
This is my entire point.
Who said that?
You.
I literally have never said that.
You imply it all the time with everything you say, and you know it.
You just hear what you want to hear because you're woke. That's all. You don't actually listen.
Whatever,
you don't actually comprehend. You just have this woke mind. All right. Anything else?
If you really want to talk about like the strategy of the world, we can go over it. This is the last thing I did in the Army was theater level planning for theater level campaigns and the strategy involved with all of that. You want to talk about it?
No, I'm talking about policy. No, I talk about policy here. But you're the one that called me a liar, and you've not delivered on a single lie. You can't deliver
you
one.
lie all the time about Israel, about Gaza, about the IDF. You lie about what is actually important in our strategic alliances.
Do you like
about all of it. Your entire worldview is a lie, and you know it is.
Okay. Do you like football or music or anything like that?
Of course.
Like steak. Awesome. All right. So we got that in common. How about that? That's cool, right?
We probably have a lot in common, except for this view on the Middle East that you just don't understand. And that's the point,
All right.
dude.
All right.
You don't.
Well,
you don't
we'll
understand.
We'll see how many people you convinced here today. And the truth is, I don't want to understand. I don't want anything to do with it. It's been nothing but
his isolationist stance is not going to work.
More propaganda. Isolationist. More propaganda from the 2001s.
You saying America should leave all foreign entanglement and not deal with anything else in the world is literally isolationism. Is it not?
How did that do for us for our first 200 years? Pretty good.
No, it didn't. We actually almost, if we hadn't joined World War II and hadn't catapulted from there, our industry and everything would have plummeted and we would have went under.
Really?
Like, are you serious right now?
So the collapse of U.S. infrastructure and manufacturing and production and Americans as a people has all declined since World War II. And you think that's good?
Have all declined since World War II? Well, of course, like manufacturing has declined since World War II. The manufacturing ramped up to insane levels so that we could support the entire war effort. So like, yeah, of course it is. And yes, I would rather manufacturing return to the United States and be way stronger in the United States. And I support policy that works with that. But our foreign
support policy, there it is. So you support policy that would do that. So how about we don't spend $20 trillion in the Middle East and instead we invest $20 trillion in the United States of America?
We never spent $20 trillion in the Middle East. First of all, that's a lie.
We never spent $20 trillion in the Middle East. Okay.
We did not spend $20 trillion in the Middle East.
All right. God bless you. Godspeed. I salute you.
Another lie. Hey guys, we didn't spend $20 trillion in the Middle East. Okay. It's about closer to $8 trillion. But you know, and that's most of that was for our soldiers.
You're a veteran. You understand war more than me.
I'm actually against the Iraq war. I was against.
That's good. You know, I'm saying, hey, look. You know more about war than me. You know way more about it. You're an expert at it. You've been in that field. I don't contend with that. But I understand politics, news, and current events more than you because I live it just like you lived war. Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
You lie about it more than me. That's what you do.
You can't tell me one lie. You have not said.
I told you numerous lies. You lie all the time about the exact things that I just.
I'm going to shut up. You show me one lie.
The thing that you posted yesterday about the IDF was a lie. The thing that you posted on my stuff about the IDF was a lie.
What?
Everything you post about Israel, everything you talk about Israel on your show is a lie.
Tell me the
everything
lie.
You're talking about in the Middle East right now that we just talked about is a lie.
Tell me the lie.
It's all lies.
Tell me.
I've called them all out. There's so many lies, and you
haven't said one. You literally haven't said one.
You said numerous. You said
name one.
Everything you just said about the Middle East and about Israel is a lie. You think that we went to war in the Middle East for Israel? Is that what you think?
I didn't say that, but
if we would have went to war for Israel in the Middle East, it wouldn't even have been the Middle East. It would have been Central Asia, and we would have went into Iran.
Do you believe the official narrative of September 11th? Do you think we got the truth about that?
I don't think we got the whole truth.
Okay.
What are you trying to get at? What's
well, I just think we were lied to. I think 9/11 was an inside job, and I think I don't think we've gotten any of the truth, and I think the official narrative is ridiculous, quite frankly. And I think that's where a lot of this stems from. I think a lot of this stems from the lie of September 11th.
Okay, so what's your theory, and what proof do you have to back that up?
Well, let's see. When you have the passports of the hijackers sitting on top of a pile of rubble and molten lava, I'd say that that's a pretty nearly impossible thing. When they claim that a plane hit the Pentagon, when they claim that a plane hit the Pentagon, and there's literally no plane in any of the videos, there's zero plane, it doesn't exist. So that's quite spectacular. I'm not here to get into a history of 9/11, but yeah, I mean, we were definitely lied to about it.
Okay. So again, what does that have to do with anything else?
Because that's what led to this massive incursion in the Middle East and the Iraq war and the Afghanistan war, and tens of thousands of Americans died.
Yes, it was used by Bush to go into Iraq. Yes. You know, Afghanistan was actually an important, it was until it wasn't, right? SF had that wrapped up in a bow within 6 months of being there. And if they would have left it to just SF and the CIA, Afghanistan would have fallen and it would have been fine. And we wouldn't have had to send a bunch of troops there. But they were setting up the precursors for us to go into Iraq. And so they needed to protract the war in Afghanistan because of that. Yes, I'll agree with you that there were some things that stink about 9/11. And there was definitely some things about that they used for that to get us into Iraq. But none of that has anything to do with Israel, right?
Well, no, that's not right. Benjamin Netanyahu was one of the people that were telling our Congress that we had to go do that.
Benjamin Netanyahu was not the prime minister when we invaded Iraq.
I didn't say that. I said he was going in front of Congress on record saying that we had to go take them out because they had weapons.
What does that matter? He was a private citizen at that time when he did that. So what is that? Like, how does that change the fact? How do you then get to that was Israel? It was Benjamin Netanyahu. I'm not a fan of him. I don't even care about Israeli politics. I think they're actually a little too far left. So I don't agree with everything they do. But if you're looking at the strategic alliance of what we are and the shared interest that we have with them, that's what you need to look at. That's what you need to talk
What's
about.
the shared interest?
The shared interest is that we're both Western style democracies built on freedom of self-determination.
So
and
what does that have to do with the military? What does that have to do with the military? There's plenty of nations that are like us like that. There's plenty of similar nations.
In the Middle East? Which one? Name one.
I just mean in the world.
Okay, and we're allied with a lot of those. Which one in the Middle East are we? Which one in the Middle East is
like pay all this money? So why do we have to give them all this money?
Which one in the Middle East is like that?
I don't know. Probably none, but I don't really care.
Just Israel, right?
I don't care.
So it makes sense that we would align with an ideologically similar nation. Why is that a bad thing?
I mean, again, why am I paying them all this money?
You're not paying them anything. $3.8 billion is the annual aid, if you want to call it that gets pushed back into U.S. weapons and military systems being built, right? So 75% of that comes right back to us and is built and paid to Americans who work in America.
It's the military-industrial complex.
And regardless, $3.8 billion is 0.056% of the annual budget. It's not even 1/10%. And you're crying about that?
I'm crying. I'm crying. Look at my tears. And that number is far short of what the actual number is. But our country is falling apart. Our country is falling apart. Dude, I can't teach you everything here. Okay, if you want to do the research for yourself, go ahead. I've done the
research. The MOU we have with Israel is $3.8 billion.
All right, I can't do this anymore.
You're lying about it. Why are you lying about it? About another thing you lied about. How many lies is that, people? That's a lot of lies in one show.
What am I lying about? All right, this is the last one I'm going to give you. What am I lying about?
You just lied about that. You just lied. You said that we give Israel more than that. $3.8 billion is is the aid that we give. It's literally an MOU. It's literally signed by Congress.
Let's see. Congress.gov. To date, the United States has provided $174 billion in assistance to Israel. All right.
That's over the entire time.
There you go. Congratulations.
That's over the entire existence of us working together. How many years is that?
Yeah. Your point?
Okay, my point is
that your kid? Go take care of your baby. Go take care of your kid.
My wife's down there with the baby. Dude, you're such a piece of shit, dude. Like,
Nice.
seriously.
Nice.
It's like I don't get an ick from people a lot, but you give me an ick. You're one of those people, dude.
That's
like
good. Well, that's something in you. That's something in you.
You and all your little Groipa followers that are going to get on here and they're going to say their stuff.
Why do you keep doing that? What are you even talking about?
You. All right.
All right. Nice talking. I can't. All right. All right, guys. Well, I don't know how I can't come back from that. Wow. That was fun. That was a good time. I'm glad he came on. I like having these conversations. That was good. I don't know why he has to insult me. I don't know why he has to say things about me that aren't true. He says I'm a liar. He can't say a single thing I lied about. He says I give him the ick because I'm smiling in a debate, because I'm having fun talking politics, and that somehow gives him the ick. I try to have a respectful end of the conversation. He calls me a piece of shit. Yeah, to me, that's funny, dude. Like, that shows you lost the debate. I'm laughing because I deal with you people all the time. So whatever, that was fun, man. I wish nothing but the best for you. I salute you for your service. I appreciate that. And I respect you. I'm glad you came on and you couldn't back up anything you said. You insulted me, and I think it's funny. So if that gives you the ick, then I guess that's what it is. Wow. Well, I can't I can't go back to the news after that, guys. So I'm just going to open the phone lines, I guess. I don't know. What else do we have in the stack? I was going to get into why. Oh my gosh. I can't go back to the news after that. All right. Do you blame me? I can't go back to the news after that. That's too fun. That's too much fun. I honestly, I don't even know like what I don't think I've ever posted 7,000. He's the Groipers. What did you talk about with the Groipers? Those are Nick Fuentes fans. Do I look like Nick Fuentes? I have no idea what's going on. Man, do the Groipers just live in these people's heads all the time? Like, why are you thinking about that right now? Where does that even come into the conversation? That was fun. What did you guys think about that one? I'm sorry. I mean, look, it's not news coverage, but I would say that was fun and entertaining. All right. There we go. So let's just take calls the rest of the way, guys. Phone lines are open. 747-250-560. Hey, guys, by the way, just a programming note. We are slammed up till Christmas. I'm doing a lot of bonus streams, including tonight. A bit of an announcement tonight. Nothing too consequential, just a bit of an announcement as far as the show is concerned, with a sponsor, and then a subject matter that for me I've been talking about, experimenting with for a long time. It's now a normal thing for me. But we landed a new sponsor, and I'm going to be making that announcement later tonight. And then talking about this. So we're going to have a bonus stream later tonight. But we're going to take calls the rest of the way. Wow. Fun show here. Fun show in the last hour. So you're on the line. Remember, single line. It's me and you. So I just ask you, what's your name and where you're from? So go ahead. First caller of the name.
It's the notorious 7-Eleven, live and direct from New York City.
I can't believe you got through first today.
Come on, so I gotta keep track of everybody. You know what time it is with me. You can check my track listing, my track record. Owen, you know what it is. I'm Ahmed from New York City, baby. You know what time it is. You know how I get down. But Owen, listen, y'all gotta start debating Freemasonry more, man. Like within the citizens and elected officials, it's very important for the next election cycle and stuff like this. In the next 20 years, like these will be the topics of conversation, whether or not it gets censored on the internet. But these are things that are inevitable. The debate on like this guy's trying to debate, or I don't know, it's like Islamophobia, and it's like Islamics are taking over the Western civilization. Bro, do you really think the Freemasons will allow that? You know,
well, look,
you know what I'm saying?
this whole thing started because he insulted me and called me a liar, and so I just said, okay, come on the show, and then he was here for 30 minutes. He didn't say one thing I lied about. There was not one single thing he could point to that I lied about. So I just.
So what is this guy's biography like? What makes his credentials that good for you to welcome him on the show?
Well, I always say no, because here's what that is. Here's what that is. And I'm glad you asked that, because here's what that is. Whenever there's somebody that has a disagreement with me on X, and not just, I'm not talking about some random anonymous with no followers, whatever. I mean, somebody that has a significant presence, a significant following that I've seen around before. I see other people that follow them. They get some, they have a little traction there. And there's others, by the way. Whenever they raise an issue with me on X or debate me or whatever, I always invite them on the show. It's a policy of mine. I don't shy from debate. I embrace debate. I like debate. I think it's healthy. And so that's just a policy. So when I saw him, debating me or whatever and going off on this tirade on X and calling me a liar, I said, hey, come on the show then. Come on the show. And I got a couple more of these coming up. I got one next week with David Kate. Same thing. We debate on X. He's going to come on the show. Now, I would imagine with David, it's going to be a lot more cordial than that, because David is a respectful person as far as our communications are concerned. I don't know about Green Beret nap time. He didn't seem interested in showing any respect, but okay, that's fine. So that's why that is. That's why I do that, is because I embrace debate. I like debate. I think it's healthy, and I think it's good for people to see both sides, and it helps them to decide maybe where they might end up on an issue. So that's why I do that. But, I mean, that just got bad fast, honestly. It just got bad fast. Next caller, what's your name? Where you from?
Oh, it's Don from Orange County, man.
What's up, Don?
How you doing, buddy? You should have called me. I should have. God, I wanted to talk to that guy. Oh, my. I'm like sitting here just going, look at him. He's got the tattoos, he's got the gun shirt on, and he's just talking out of his ass. And, I mean, hey, man, look, the guy went over to Iraq, or he's a veteran, which is good, but he is a perfect example of somebody that has a crumbling disposition. He doesn't want to really, really believe that he was used as a pawn, and he doesn't want to believe none of that. So he's got to cling on to this Call of Duty type of mentality about we need to be over there, because if we're not over there, they'll come over here. And it's not even about that. This guy, oh my God, dude, I can't tell you how many people I see like this dude. And, he's the kind of guy that probably drives around in a Ford with a big ass flag every day all over it, which I get. Patriotism's good, but this guy had not one lie he could have called you on.
Yeah, and that was the big thing. That was the big thing.
He did the same thing. Yeah, he did the same thing. What's her name? Caitlin. What's that girl's name that does the colleges? And you know how she asks everybody?
Yeah, Caitlin Marie.
And they always cite
Katie Marie.
He did the same. He did the same shit, dude, because he couldn't call you out on a lie.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's like the woke left. It's the same thing. It's like debating the woke left. And by the way, if you follow those old videos, if you go back and you find the old videos of my street debates, you'll see it's the exact same thing. And it would happen almost guaranteed every time I went to these things and I did these street debates. Somebody would eventually call me a liar, and I'd say, what did I lie about? And they can't produce a single lie. Not one. So I'm still waiting. Still waiting here. Next caller, what's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, Owen, it's Joe from New Jersey. I'm calling again. And first off, let me just say thank you for everything you're doing. I really appreciate your passion. That was a entertaining debate. just to say, And,
I always definitely entertaining.
I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Did you see Christmas? Did you see the legendary Christmas decoration debacle in the first hour?
Yeah. I saw the flag fall over.
Oh my gosh! Can you
know,
believe that?
I hope you picked that up. You know.
Oh, the
I-
flag.
I
Oh no,
hope
the
that
flag
hit
is
the
back
floor.
up. The flag is up and erect. The flag is solid. We got it back. We got it back where it belongs. But I think the Christmas decor is going to be. It might be. We might get rid of it. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, I hope you keep it. You know, you got to stay in the spirit, man. You know, you can't be a Grinch.
I don't know. I kind of like the Grinch, to be honest. But at the
Yeah,
end of
yeah,
the day,
you-
it was the Grinch that cut the roast beast. Never forget. The
Yeah,
Grinch.
I tried one of those Grinch meals, and that was just goy slop. It was awful.
what?
You know, I had like pickle. Yeah, great McDonald's Grinch meal. Yeah, have you heard of that?
No.
Oh my God. I mean,
No
to be
good.
fair, I
You
didn't
say
hear
you
about
say
it
it's
either.
you say it's no
It
good,
was
huh?
horrible. It was horrible.
Well, I'm shocked.
It was like pickle fry. Oh man.
I didn't know they had a Grinch meal, but that's funny. I'm stunned that it didn't taste good, though, I have to say. All right. I got another caller. Hey, caller, just hold for me. I want to go through some super chats first, if you don't mind. Just hold right there. We'll get you on the air. Let me go through our YouTube super chats today. Mark Robinson, Darth Owen. Is that because of the attire? Is that because of the black attire today? Darth Owen. That's fair. I kind of like it. I guess I'm a bit of a Sith Lord now, huh? That's how I'm perceived. But you need to understand the power of the dark side. Darth Owen with the black turtleneck today. Owen is right. Same merry-go-round. And that was in the first hour. And do you see what I'm saying now? Do you see the merry-go-round? Bob Bickerstaff, 1776. Owen, do you think Alex would go along with repealing 2A if Trump tried it? No, I don't think so. I don't. But I'm going to be honest, man. I have no idea what Alex is up to, so I don't know. I don't know where he stands on anything these days, so I can't really give you a fair analysis of that. But no, I don't see Alex ever. I don't see Alex ever going against the Second Amendment. But I don't know where he's at these days. I don't have any clue what's going on. JX5828. Owen, would you ever consider opening a dialogue with socially conservative communists such as Jackson Hinkle? I will open up a dialogue with everybody. I'll open up a dialogue with anybody and everybody. The Hinkle thing is a little odd because he comes off now. I don't think he's given up his U.S. citizenship, but it's like I feel like he didn't plan on coming back. He kind of feels like he's an expat now. And so, I mean, that's fine. He can do whatever he wants. But I'm not against a dialogue with anybody. So it's like I can understand enough from Jackson's coverage, I guess, his mindset and where he's coming from. But it seems like now, I don't even know, does he consider himself to be American or an expat? I don't know. So I understand what he's doing, where he's coming from, and I would certainly be willing to have an open dialogue with anybody. So yeah, I would talk to Jackson Hinkle. I had no problem with that. In fact, I may have actually talked to him before, or maybe we tried to set up an interview and it fell through. I don't know. I see him posting about China a lot. Is he in China? I don't know. I definitely have him on though. I'd have no problem with that. Musically assured destruction. Here's a question. Is the way the IDF fighting the war going to inspire or deter Islamicism in Palestine in the long term? Well, I would say that that's the problem. And that's why we have to decouple from the Middle East, because nobody's toning it down. Nobody's trying to tone it down. And even though I think from the Muslim or Arab side and the Israel Jewish side, even though there's plenty of people that don't want to have these wars and don't have hatred in their heart, maybe even most of them, there's enough people with power and influence that want it to continue. And so it does. And as each side escalates, they pass on that generational hatred, that generational pain, and it just goes on and on and on. And now, unfortunately, the United States of America is trapped in this cycle of war and hate and death and destruction. The American Christian, The American citizen is now smack dab forced into it, and it sucks. That's the problem. Turn 5252. He's manifesting. I don't know. Well, that was during that debate, so I'm not sure exactly what he was meaning there. Brother fly lineage. Self-owning. Yeah. I would say he definitely was a lot of self-owning there. I'd have to go back and watch. I don't have the time. But there were definitely moments where it was just like, I would ask a question, and it was just like, okay. Anthony Aguilar. Chase Hill on the right side is a washout, ignorant bigot who couldn't hack it in Army SF and was kicked out. He's an unhinged misogynist and a liar. Is that that's the Green Beret nap time? I didn't know his name. His name is Chase. Does he try to keep that private? If so, I'm sorry. I respect people that want to keep their privacy private. I didn't know that was who that was. So I don't know much about him. I don't claim to know much about him. I assumed he was a veteran since his name is Green Beret Nap Time. And I know he has a, decently large X account that gets, pretty good traction. But, and then he was calling me a liar, but that was pretty much the extent of that. He goes on here. He says, this is still Anthony Aguilar. He understands nothing of the Middle East or world affairs. His knowledge is based on white supremacy. He's an idiot. We spent over $20 trillion. He's a liar, shill, bigot, racist, ignorant douche. All right. Tell me how you really feel. Do you know this guy? Don't listen to a word he said. He's a paid influencer. He was kicked out of the Army. What are you saying? I don't know anything about that. I don't know about his Army record or leaving the Army. I don't know. So I can't comment on that. Netanyahu threatened 9/11 exactly in Congress from turn 5252. Well, he did say, Netanyahu did predict, I think it was a couple months before, that radical Islamic terrorists would fly planes into the Twin Towers. There was also a CIA report that bin Laden would do it specifically. I'm sure that's all just a coincidence, nothing to see here. Aguilar, I'm sorry, Anthony. It looks like you had a couple things to say while it was live. I just don't check the super chats till the end of the show. Says this was directed at the guest. You're a disgrace to the Special Forces Regiment. Keep your racist, bigoted views to yourself. You're disgusting. I don't even know about that stuff. Again, I just saw him attacking me on X and said, let's talk about it. So I don't know if this person knows about it, but that stuff I don't know about. I should have asked him if he got 7K. Fifth Elemento. Ask him if he got 7K. I don't think I've ever posted that. Maybe I have once, maybe. I don't think I've ever posted that deal. So it's like, it's so funny. I talk about this all the time. It's like the more and more I go through this, and it comes in waves because you got to kind of, you gotta fill all the different piggy banks, if you will, here. But it's like the more I go through this stuff, the more I realize I want to be or need to be as independent as possible. Like that I need to be as independent as possible. And that's not against other people in the media. It's not that I don't like other people in the media. I've got plenty of other friends out there. I get along with most people, actually. I get along with almost everybody out there, even the ones that I disagree with. But it just it just becomes this thing of somehow it's like he brings up Groypers. Like, what do I have to do with Groypers? That's Nick Fuentes fans. It's like, why is that getting put on me? What? It's like he does the same thing. Like, you do the 7K post. What are you talking about? I don't go around spamming 7K. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, but even when you try to be as independent as possible, it doesn't even matter. People still stick stuff to you that you have nothing to do with. It's like somehow all this other baggage, all these other people's baggages or issues or all this other stuff, somehow it's like they try to stick it on me. It's like, dude, what are you even talking about? What is it? What? How does that stick with me? And then I say that, and I've got like 8 interviews lined up. so I'm my own problem. Somebody call the police. Dude's beating his... Oh, okay, I can't read this stuff. Guys, come on. Don't try to get me in trouble. Pittsburgh, bad. says that he was beating himself. We'll just say it like that. He was beating himself. He made no points and couldn't lay out any incorrect things that I said. Well, that's the big contention here. He didn't lay out one lie that I made. And so he can sit here and say, oh, we didn't spend that much, or, oh, it was a clean operation, or, oh, the return on investment. And I'm like, well, okay, where's the lie? So there's our super chats for today. Wow. Pittsburgh bag squeeze was one more in. Owen, you tell lies. What lies? Duh. You have followers. I'm jealous. Duh. Israel. Did I get that one right, Pittsburgh? Am I getting the attitude here? Am I conveying what you're trying to express in the super chat? All right. Fiery third hour. Let's go back to the phone lines. All right, caller, thank you for waiting. What's your name? Where you're from?
Andrew, Florida.
All right, Andrew, what's up?
Owen, all the time, Schroyer.
Everything, all the time.
I just wanted to say I like the thing you do. Because you do the thing.
It could be a lot of things, but I'll accept it. I accept it, and I don't want to know anymore.
That's pretty much it. I just want to say have a good night.
Hey, you too. Merry Christmas. Thanks for the call. The thing. I'm good at the thing. That's true. Very good at the thing. Trust me. Maybe the best even. Next caller. What's your name? Where you're from?
Yes, hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes, hi. My name is Matt from Iowa.
All right. What's up, Matt?
Well, I just started watching your show because I'm no longer watching the show that you used to work for.
All right. Well,
And
glad
I
to
really
have you here.
enjoy
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Glad you're here.
Yeah. This person, I don't even know his name, the person you just interviewed, but the best part was when he was trying to tell you that the Islamic terrorists are going to come get Americans no matter what. And you asked him, since, the 200 years or whatever America's been, when did they attack us? His answer was, well, Israel hasn't been a nation since that long. And he basically proved your point, and he didn't even realize that he did.
So were you listening? I think it was the second hour or first hour where I said, this new faction of the right is the exact same as the left in that everything they're going to say or do is predictable. And it's so easy to put them into a trap. And that's exactly what I did. And as you said, he proved my point.
Yeah. But he didn't, he reminded me of the right-wing version of Dean Withers. If you ever saw Nick Fuentes debate him.
Whoa.
Same attitude, same tactics, just not even knowledgeable.
Oh, he's coming after you next. He's coming for you now.
Yeah. Well, keep it up, Owen. I like the show. I'm watching you now. It's a regular show I watch now. I no longer watch that other show. And thanks. Thanks for everything you do.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Thank you for that. Glad to have you along for the ride. Next caller, what's your name? Where you from?
Oh, this is your longtime buffoon of the Owen Report, Josh from Arcadia calling in, buddy.
All right, buffoon. Josh, what's up?
Man, that dude didn't understand he was getting involved with the CHOQ destroyer, did he? I'd seen his shit on Twitter earlier, man. And I was like, does this guy not have any idea what he's getting into?
No, they don't. They don't. And, it's funny, too, because I had this happen a couple times. Boy, I'll tell you, if I told you everything that was going on behind the scenes, it would blow your mind. But I've had it a couple times, and I'm sure you've seen this, and people will come after me and they'll say, he's not MAGA. Even the guest just tried to say I'm a leftist. Like, dude, come on. You clearly know nothing about it. But I don't even care.
I
Whatever.
He came out and was like, oh, well, Owen Jihad this on Twitter. I'm like, dude, where are you coming from on this? He's just stating the obvious.
So it's
nobody wants wars. Nobody wants kids killed.
So
we
I don't
want
even
America first. We don't want this shit. Us panicans, us fellow panicans, want what we wanted from 2015 on till now.
Well, see, you
we
just
have been
said
on this ride for 10 years. We have never changed, never wavered. It's the fuck stains that's around this movement that's fracturing it, and it's terrible.
Well, you just said it right there. It's that I'm here now. So it's like, whatever. Don't call me anything. Don't put me in a box. All right. I am America's anchorman. I am America's play-by-play. That's what I am. I am the voice of the people. I am with the people. I am one of the people. I am of the people. I am for the people. I am by the people. I am America's anchorman. I'm doing political play-by-play every day. Don't put me in a box. I really don't care what you accuse me of. You put me in a box, I don't fit in the box. I'm not in the box. I'm out of the box. I'm in a different box into the next box. I am America's anchorman. I do political play-by-play. I call it as it is. And it just so happens I know what I'm talking about. It just so happens I might have a addiction to news and current events that keeps me informed. I have a photographic memory, so I can draw things up on demand, even when I'm not prepared. And so that's like you said, it's like, did he not know? It's like, hey, man, I don't know. I don't know what this guy knows or doesn't know. I know he's calling me a liar, so I'll challenge him on that. But clearly they don't know about me.
No one ever wins when they challenge you when you say you're lying. No one ever.
Because I don't lie.
Ever.
Period. It's that simple.
No, you don't.
Because
You've
I don't
been a
lie.
straight shooter for the last decade, brother. And that's why I followed you over here.
Well, and it's funny.
I've been with you since InfoWars. And, man, when I started seeing the change, I was like, this dude gets it. This dude gets it. He's not kissing Trump's ass. He's like everybody else. He's seeing the problems with all this bullshit. This isn't what we fucking voted for.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, and I appreciate your call. Merry Christmas. And I'll tell you this before we sign off, too. I'll take one more. I'm going to take one more call. Take one more, and then I got to get ready for the 7 p.m. Central stream coming up here in about 50 minutes. I'm always going to defend my ground. And I don't know if it's fair to say if I never strike first, but in instances like this, I'm not striking first. Like, I punch up. I punch up. I don't punch sideways. I don't punch down. I only punch up, but I always defend my ground. So if I'm going to punch sideways or down or in my own area, then I'm defending myself. I'm striking back. I only strike up. I only strike above. So when I see all of these people, they say, Owen's not MAGA. He's fake MAGA. He's a liar. I just say, okay. And then the people that say, oh, he's not MAGA. And then I show them my MAGA rap sheet and I say, let's see your resume. Let's see your resume. I'm not MAGA. I've got about as strong as a MAGA resume as anybody out there. I've probably got top 10, at least for people in the media, maybe top 5 MAGA resumes. There are a very small amount of people that have as strong as a MAGA resume that check all the boxes that I have. From the attacks, the doxing, the censorship, the imprisonment, you name it, the lawsuits. And so I just lay all of this out, and then they go quiet because they don't even check a single box. And they want to tell me I'm not MAGA. Well, what is that they say? I don't want to be too arrogant. Just God bless. I'm blessed to be alive. I love life. I love life, and I just want to improve it. I love America. I just want to save it. And I'm here for the American people. I'm the America's anchorman, and I do play-by-play. That's what I do. And if you want to come after me, good luck. All right, final caller. Final caller of the show. Go ahead. Your name, where you from?
Hey, Owen. It's JJ from Florida. Yeah, the Green Beret guy. Yeah, I am very convinced that boomer brain is actually a mentality rather than a generation.
I feel like I feel like we got to be the same age. I don't think he's a boomer. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know.
No, I meant like boomer brain as in the mentality.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's basically at this point just believing the same propaganda.
Exactly.
So I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's
but it's like you notice. But I know how to respond to all of this stuff. And I'm sorry I'm out of time here. I know how to respond to all this stuff. That's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, this is the craziest part. Okay? And the truth is, I don't have a political brain. I hate politics, if I'm being honest. I just love America and I love life. And I see these things are under attack. And most people aren't even aware of it. They're not even conscious to it. They can't even engage in the fight. They don't even see the real threats. So I'm here to kind of get you into that mindset and then explain what's going on. But it's the funniest thing because it's like everybody will admit, it's like they're always going to come to the same conclusion that America is going the wrong direction. The economy is going the wrong direction. The culture is going the wrong direction. Our political system is more corrupted than it's ever been. Our foreign policy is a disaster. And so it's like we agree with all of this stuff. And so then when I come with, hey, maybe we should do this differently, or maybe this is the problem, it's like they don't want to change anything. So it's like they admit that all of these things have gone horribly wrong. They admit that everything is trending in the wrong direction. But then it's like they just want to believe the same things, say the same things, and do the same things that got us into this position. And you're like, hey, maybe we should do it this way. Or maybe this thing was the bad decision. And it's like, oh, no. So where is the disconnect? So we all agree it's not going well. We all agree it's trending the wrong direction. We all see the same issues, and that's what we're doing here. But then it's like you just want to keep doing the same thing? But I'm the crazy person? Wow. Wow. How about that? How about that with a week until Christmas on the Owen Report? Woo! All right, guys, I got to sign off. We're going to be back here in about 50 minutes. To talk about a new sponsor and a men's health issue. Actually, it probably works for women too, but I'm thinking about the men tonight. So if you want to tune into that, men, learn how to increase your performance, testosterone, especially when there's no sun. We're going to be asking and answering some questions on that. But we'll take a 50-minute break. We'll be back here in about 50 minutes to do that. Big announcement for the show, and then talking some men's health issues. Fun time. I salute the guest. Thanks for coming on. Thanks to the callers. Thanks for everybody for being here. God bless. Godspeed. Owen Report back tomorrow. Me back here in 50 minutes.